Hey, yo, jerks, we're live. Welcome to the show Thursday night. You may have seen the big interview with Karen Reed and Alan Jackson today on the Howie Carr show. We're getting started a little early. We're not going to have our main guest here for too long, but we also have Bederow for the second segment tonight. So it's going to be a big show, probably the biggest guest we've had in a very long time. This show's been around for a long time. In this era, this might be the biggest two guests back to back. It's huge for me. I just I've stolen so much from this guy. I just gotta say, number one, I always say I didn't come here to be made sport of. Might talk about a lot of his phrases. He's a Hall of Fame broadcaster, radio host of the Howie Carr Show. He's also a longtime Boston Herald columnist. It's my honor to have Howie Carr live on the Young Jurks. Hey, Howie, how you doing today?
Very good. Thank you for having me, Mike. I've been listening to you for a while too, and I appreciate the invitation.
I called into your show decades ago. You would never remember, but I have been on the caller line with you, so it's way before you knew my name. So it's just amazing to have been listening to you for so long and to have you on the show today.
Yeah, you were pro pot. I got you
That's
confused
why
with.
I was calling in. I was
I thought
calling in
I
for a
got you
weed.
confused with the High Sheriff of Suffolk County,
No,
Steve.
no. Yeah. It's funny because I was pro cannabis, then I exposed all those types of people too. So like there's a lot of graft in the industry, as they say. So but yeah, we were on the opposite side back then. We're on the same side on this. You were, I mean, your columns have been amazing for years. Your show, it's entertaining, even if people don't like you for your politics. It's like I know a lot of people who still listen because it's entertaining and you're local and you like the crab rangoon and the chicken fingers and all the local politicians. So I'm wicked excited. I'm overexcited, honestly, and just to have you today too, because you had this big interview that everyone's talking about, and you have a new book coming out. Let's talk about the interview you just did with
There's the
Karen
book,
Reed. Yeah, the book is called Mass Corruption by Howie Carr. You're doing
Volume One.
pre-sales, volume one. You got a couple volumes. How many volumes of this are you gonna do?
It could be endless. Oh, it's in Massachusetts, but you can pre-order. Go to howiecarshow.com and click on store, and you can pre-order and save $5.
Excellent. We'll try to put that in the chat and make sure it's in the YouTube comments later on when people watch it on the replay. We'll definitely be promoting that. And you also, like I said, you had this huge interview today with Alan Jackson and Karen Reed, and there were some breaking news details in that. Before we even get to that, I want to ask you, how did it go? Like, what was the behind the scenes? A lot of people were interested to see what you guys were talking about when the mics were off, because you guys seem very excited and into each other. What was going on when the mic wasn't on?
We were just talking about the future and the future of court and what her plans were, and I've been talking to them for a while, and Alan Jackson told me when he was on in June that he would be back, and I was glad that he came, and he brought Karen with him. It wasn't like a major sit down interview, but she wanted to say hello to everybody and talk about her life since the trial ended. It's I mean, we talked about the difference between the Freddie Weichel, who, did 35 years, because he crossed Whitey in Norfolk County, or the guys in Boston who got framed for a mob hit by the FBI. She never went to prison, but her life was as effectively destroyed as Freddie Weichel's or the four guys in the North End. I mean, they
Yeah.
wrecked her life. She had a good job. She had her own home. She was an adjunct professor at a business school, and it's all gone. She doesn't even have a car anymore.
No. Fidelity Investments, great job. I started out in Fidelity way back in the day. I was an equity trader. That level of job she had, that's like you've made it. Like in that industry, those are the
Yeah,
brains. You know what I mean? To be an
yeah.
analyst at Fidelity is like that's a real serious job. It's not just
Yeah,
a guy passing a
she's pretty
Series
smart
7.
too. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
you could tell just from talking to her or listening to her when she's talking. She's very intelligent. And you know, a couple of people texted me while I was on the air and said, you know, you ought to ask her about Abby Johnson, you know, the richest woman in Massachusetts, a
Abigail.
billionaire. I mean, you know, there was none of this feminist solidarity there. You know, Abby just you know, let her go.
Probably didn't even know either, too. I bet. I wonder if she's aware now. It's
Yeah.
interesting. It's an interesting. I heard you bring that up too. Like, you know, she could have helped her out. Definitely. They have so much money. I mean, they're
Billions.
even
Billions.
even the brothers and the sisters that don't get involved in that business are like loaded. Like everybody is loaded in that business from the family. Um, so yeah, like today, one of the things that came up that I thought was interesting was that I haven't seen got talk, much discussion online so far was about the subpoena, the federal subpoena, because everyone was talking about Higgins and Proctor and why you wouldn't put him on the stand, how risky it might be. But Jackson today brought up the fact that it was maybe about Higgins and this other FBI guy, maybe about the subpoena, how difficult it was to serve a subpoena to a federal official.
Right.
That was kind of like revealing. I didn't hear any of the like
Yeah, I
lawsuit.
think it's really difficult to pierce the FBI or any of these federal agencies. You know, I mean, we don't know anything about Higgins, for example. I mean, supposedly he's down in I think Sandwich, and nobody has anyone seen him on any cases since the first trial. I don't think so. He's just down there. He's lost some weight, unlike the rest of them that have found it and put it on. And I don't know what he's doing, but this other guy that they want to, I think, bring in if there is a civil trial, and Higgins is one of the defendants. He had a buddy that worked at the FBI who was one of their IT people, and that was the guy that he went to when he wanted to basically erase all of the I'm not going to say incriminating, but damaging information on his cell phone. And this guy did it for him. And I mean,
Certainly his name. Yeah,
that's seems like a pretty serious breach of protocol for the feds, doesn't it?
totally. And why wouldn't Jackson want to put him on the stand too? That did come up a lot. Like we always thought that he would get brought up on the stand and never happened. And it's interesting to see that how
How
difficult it
difficult it
is to
was.
bring them on.
That seemed to
Yeah.
be the problem. That it was just, it's like anything else in a trial. You have to you only have so much time in a day. You only have so many resources. So you gotta go for the low hanging fruit.
Like triage, like the medical field. You pick what's, get your best bang for your dollar. You just got to go with it. Um, yeah, there was some other things that came up today too, like about the Karen Reed movie. A lot of people are talking about that. About what's her name? Elizabeth Banks hadn't talked to Karen
Yeah,
Reed.
yeah. I was I was perplexed yesterday when I read that. I said, is this the movie that she signed up for that was announced like I don't know 6 or 8 weeks ago? And there was no indication of that in the story. And so I asked her that, and she said no, she had nothing to do with that, and she knew nothing about it until she read it, just like everybody else in the world, yesterday afternoon. And then she also said, I thought it was kind of humorous that you know I asked her off air first. I said, does it bother you that they have a 52-year-old woman playing you? And she said it's even worse than that because when this thing started, when all this is going to be taking place, I was 42 years old. So they put a woman who's 10 years older than me. At least
And who
she's local
knows?
though, Mike. She's
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Pittsfield.
she is well from Western Mass, isn't she?
Well,
Like
I'm
Pittsfield or
from
something.
Western Mass. I used to live
Oh,
in
you are.
Western
Well,
Mass
you're
too,
from
so I
Maine.
consider it local. Yeah,
I thought you were from Maine.
I am from Maine, but I'm also from Deerfield. So it's
Oh, that's right, Deerfield Academy. Yeah, it's kind of like I'm from Bridgewater State. Did you know I went to school with Kelleher, right?
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I used to drink beers with him. I was a wrestler. My roommate was a football player. We went to high school together, and he played the same position, same year as Kelleher. So Kelleher used to come by, and yeah, I knew him all through college. He was a good guy. I liked him. So it's funny how we all went to Bridgewater. That's what got me interested in this a lot too. Is like knowing the Bridgewater angle. It
Was
just
Jerry
it's just
Indelicato the president at the time?
yes, yes. Did he get indicted?
Oh
Something.
yes,
Yeah,
he
he
went to
did.
prison. Do you know who his uncle was?
No.
His uncle was Teddy Deegan, the guy that the
Ah,
four people that the FBI
yeah.
framed for murdering was. And
I
if
didn't
you
know
and if
that.
you look at a
That's a
picture of
small
Teddy
world.
Deegan, if you look at a picture of Teddy Deegan, he kind of looks like his uncle.
Yeah.
Or
And then
excuse me, Indelicato looks like his
yeah.
like his uncle, Teddy Deegan.
Funny because in the early 90s, when I was going there, late 80s, early 90s, the big thing on the campus was the Joe Moakley. Joe Moakley came down. So it's just another connection to the kind of that area, which is interesting. Um, but there's so many things I want to talk to you about tonight, but we're like almost out of time. I think we got like
Yeah.
5 more minutes with you.
Again, I'm not trying to blow you off here, Mike. I just got to write my own column. I think
No,
my lead is going to be, what Karen Reed said at the very end when I asked her, what would you say to Morrissey and the state police? And she paused for like, I don't know, 6-7 seconds, which is an eternity in radio. But I said I had a feeling it was going to be worth it. And she said, "You lost.
you lost.
You
That's right.
lost. You lost big time."
That was a
That was
great moment.
perfect.
That's a soundbite right there. That's like, I have a feeling a lot. I'm wondering, have you seen any media pick this up already? I imagine like big Boston media has to post this up.
Channel 5 used the picture of us of me handing her the Michael Morrissey bag with the tail lights in it, tail light pieces in it, and the rubber
Wow.
duckies.
The
They,
rubber duckies. That
I
that was another. That was funny. That's fine. I was like, that could be a crime. That could be a crime, Howie. You could get in trouble now. Um, yeah, there was a one thing I said the other day, and I got Attorney Bederow. I want to do a quick crossover with you guys, bring you up for a real quick second, and before you go. But I said Nicky Pockets. You remember Nicky Pockets? Was that another name you came up with
Yeah,
back in the day?
that's my name, Nicky Pockets, Dick Mavroulis. Yes,
Right.
the former mayor of Peabody, who became a congressman.
Yeah, because I used to deliver beer to Cappies, and I'm back, one of the Teamster delivering me, and we're reading the Herald, and we're all laughing about it. We're like, because we're delivering at Cappies. So
Do you
that was
remember
around the
they
'90s, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
they had a portrait of him. So I don't know if his family had the thing not his son-in-law, because his son-in-law was his bag man. That's it's again, keep it in the family, like Biden. But then he turned on his son-in-law and turned him into the FBI. That's a really bad move for a corrupt politician to turn in your bag man. I can't imagine a worse career move than that, but he did, and he went down. And they got a portrait of him, and they were going to hang it in the entrance to Peabody City Hall, because he was the former mayor in addition to being a congressman. And then and everybody said, I know it's Peabody, it's the home of the golden banana and all that, but this is a little too much. So I think they moved it down into the basement.
You know what? It's funny because PVD drew the line at weed. They were the ones that were the only city I know that was like no weed, because I think because the reputation of the golden banana. It's funny how things swing around, but Peabody is something else. It's funny. You've been covering this stuff for so long. That's what I love. We could go on and on. Tell us before I bring up Bedrow real quick. Tell us about your book one more time. Like what's in it, where people can get it. Give us the big pitch of it. I want to know what's in it. Like what's actually in this for Karen Reed and you, Sandra Birchmore. Like, give us
Yeah,
what you can if you can.
yeah. It's mass corruption at volume 1, the cops, and it's about the corruption, and it's I took a lot of it's a lot of my columns about the case, and they held up pretty well, actually, I must say, in my opinion, about the case. And then I also had a lot of chapters about the corruption of the state police, because I've written a lot of columns about those guys. I had the Boston Police Department. I have a chapter on Sandra Birchmore, Justin Root, another despicable case in Norfolk County. Freddie Weichel, the guy I talked about, the FBI frame up of the 4 guys for killing President Indelicato's uncle. in the North End. I have chapters on the corrupt sheriffs with new pictures of Sheriff Tompkins, and I have some stuff on the old corruption in the police, like Jerry Clemente. Do you remember Jerry Clemente?
But it sounds familiar. What was that one
He was the
about?
guy who the Met, when they had the Met cops, and he robbed the Medford Depositors Trust of
Oh, the
$8 million
He was
on
the bank
Memorial
robber.
Day weekend in '81, and he also sold civil service exams. And you know who his lawyer was? I got a picture of him too. And I bought a picture of Jerry Clemente in the dock. His lawyer is Marty Weinberg. Marty Weinberg.
He's been around. That's
He's been,
interesting.
and and again, he was of course the appeals lawyer for Karen Reed, and she loves the guy. And I've known him for more than 40 years. He's a good guy, but he just keeps representing these same people. And last week I told the Herald photographer, I said, give me a picture of Marty Weinberg with Steve Tompkins, because it makes an interesting compare and contrast in the book. But there's a lot of this stuff. I think people will really like the book. It's just chock full of stuff, and it's got an index too.
History right here. Thank you so much for being here tonight, Howie Carr. What's your next column going to be about? You said about Karen Reed. Like,
Yeah,
is
I'm
him?
just that's my lead is you lost. You
lost.
You lost big time.
You lost
That's
big
you know
time.
you write a column, Mike, and you got the lead. It's the
You're good to
column's
go.
halfway done. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just
I mean,
goes
that's it.
there.
You know what you're doing in your head.
Right, exactly.
Let's bring up Bederow and we'll say goodbye. Mr. Attorney Mark Bederow, Howie Carr, how you guys doing tonight? Attorney Mark Bederow.
Men, how are you?
Hello, Mark. How you doing?
Well, good. How are you?
Very good. Very good.
Well, it's nice to see you face to face.
I hope to see you again face to face, Mark.
You will.
I've enjoyed having you on the show. You're a great guest, whether you're on the radio or on YouTube or wherever.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed being there, and as you know, I grew up listening to Moonbats. So,
Another one. That's another good phrase. Moonbat.
No,
There was some other ones. Bad Ice Cube. Yeah.
I made a joke
so
today, Mark, but I went out to State Police headquarters in Framingham, and I bought some tail light fragments at the gift store.
All the years driving on Route 9 by the prominent state police headquarters, I never would have thought when I went back there a year ago that was the scene of the crime, or at least the aftermath of the crime, where all the rubber rooms were and all these people were sent to in my beautiful hometown. Who knew?
Yeah, I used to drive by there, and I would say, "Damn, they all got nicer cars than I do."
It's a nice town.
That's the truth. That's the truth. That is the truth. They have nice cars. They got nicer homes, I bet. I don't know. Howie, I bet you and Bederow have nice homes.
I'm not.
They have nice homes, though. Those cops have nice homes.
I have no doubt. I mean, they're paid well for what they do, right? And what they don't.
But they got big pensions, unlike me and Mark. And you know what? If Mark and I got busted doing something wrong, we'd probably get fired and lose our pensions. And that doesn't happen very often to the state police, does it, Mark?
No, we don't have the protections that they certainly have in the union support and all of that, which I guess on some level you're seeing right now. I mean, you're seeing these shenanigans with Proctor, where he's getting due process that you and I would never get.
Too bad. I know. I've been I always watch my step. I've been. They started auditing me back 40 years ago, and I've just. Everyone's been. They've been tracking me one way up. There's always been some kind of posse after me, and most people, there's some posse after them, right?
Every time I drive into Massachusetts, I'll be there in a week or so. I come in, and I cover my heart and hope for the best.
All right, I got to do my column, guys. I appreciate you having me on the Young Jurks. I love the show, and it's good talking to you, Mike, and good talking to you, Mark. Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Good seeing you.
Okay,
thank you so much, Howie Carr. Wow, that was amazing. I have Howie Carr on the show. I want to thank Howie Carr and the whole Howie Carr crew. And Attorney Mark Bederow coming back.
How are you? How you been?
Good. How you doing? I know people are like, "Where's Bederow?"
Vacation. for a couple of weeks, and the life of a litigator, I'm in heavy duty writing mode right now, and it ebbs and flows. And so for the next couple of weeks, it's going to be very intensive writing mode, but it'll be worth it when the final project is done.
We're looking forward to that. That's coming up September 24th at 2 p.m., right?
Well, there's a court date September 20th.
That's the hearing. Yeah. That's
I'll be there
will,
for that one. I will.
will your writing be done by then? September 24th, you think?
The plan is yes, but when you're writing something like this, quality matters more than the timing of it. So I think so, but it does take time. The plan, there's no reason not to. The hope is that it will. It's almost a month away, 3 weeks away, whatever it is. But there are some serious issues which we intend to address and would like to get on the docket, certainly prior to the court appearance. And for those who hate and mock and whatnot, this one's a motion, not a letter. And it's going to be on computer, not crayon. So, deal with it the way it happens. But, it'll take some time. It's the stew is still brewing.
And it's done when it's done. It's kind of the way
done
it goes.
when it's done.
Things. Yeah.
But I think it'll be done by then. But we'll see.
Yeah. Can you hear Charlie in the background? He just got out of the vet. We
Oh,
had to
yeah?
do a sedation for his groom.
Oh,
And he actually did a good job. I guess they gave him less this time, and they say he's getting better. So, but now he's all mouthy. He wants treats. He's in his little kennel because I don't want him running around getting in trouble in here.
dogs always deserve treats. We got when I was on vacation, we got the dreaded call. You see on the cell phone, the vet or the place where the dogs are is calling, and you say, "Oh shit, why are they doing this?" And one of my dogs had a hot spot and had to go to the vet. And what do we do? Do you want us to take him? And I'm sure you're the same way. You're one of these people who says, "Don't talk to me about money and cost. Do what you got to do,
Well, yeah.
and we'll
Yeah.
deal with it later." And nothing serious.
Exactly.
Nothing serious.
I mean, it depends. If it's $10,000 to keep my dog alive for another month, then I'll probably balk at that. But like today was 1,000. It's like whatever. I didn't even think about it. It's like this dog is so happy right now.
I don't even want to hear about financial costs if it comes to the health and well-being.
You could probably afford 10, 20,000.
Oh.
Sometimes people do that. Like, I always look at the vet and I say, what would you do? You know what I mean? Like, you tell me. Whatever you tell me is what we're doing.
Yeah. No, I know. We're dog guys. We know how it is.
Yeah.
I would not eat for a week if I had to save a dog.
Seriously. You'll do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said I spent $6,000 on my cat's teeth. I mean, I'm not sure what I spent on Charlie, but it was a lot. For his teeth. And I did it for Bo too. I've done it for it's a lot when you do the teeth. But I think the teeth is important if your dog's gonna this dog's gonna last for a while. So
yeah, no, that's one of the cruelest things in the world is the short lifespan of dogs.
Yeah,
that 10 to 15 year, whatever it is. It's very, very unfortunate, but it'll be the best 10 or 15 years you have.
Right. Even today when he's at the vet, I was like looking around for him. You'd ever do that when they're not there and you still think they're there?
Yeah. My dogs actually like going to the vet. It's kind of weird. It's like a fun experience because they get pampered. Everybody loves them. They talk to them, and it's as if, oh God, you don't want to be here until they start.
Yeah.
Until they start with like the elevated scale and all that stuff.
Yeah, I guess Charlie's getting like that too, because she was saying that today, how well like he was easy, like they didn't need the full sedation. They were like, we can carry him now. He's like, I'm like, yeah, I guess because the vet we have too is awesome, like you said. Some vets, I've been to some different ones, and this one is like the most caring. The staff is just, they have that peaceful.
You'll learn about the vet you have when the time comes, and I've been there. You've probably been there when that horrible moment comes. and you have to deal with that. That's when you learn if you have the right vet, when they can deal with that horrible moment. But yeah, no, we love our vet.
It's good to have a good vet. Charlie, come on.
Ola, right
He
on.
wants more treats. He wants more treats. So the question that's been coming up a lot, and you may not be able to answer. You tell me the guardrails.
Rails guard.
Doolin. Everyone wants to know when Doolin's going to make a ruling on, the impoundment. He's supposed, like, there's a motion to unimpound.
I mean, I don't
told
know.
Is it on schedule? You think? What do you think?
Judge wears the robe. He can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. I will say in some limited twittering while on vacation for therapy or whatnot, I did see some people criticizing the judge for his whatever. That's misguided. We're very happy with the judge we have. There's no complaints at all. I don't know what his timeline is. We'll see. It's up to him. In the meantime, we push ahead. We're going to file a motion to dismiss. It's going to be for two separate bases. It's going to be for improper behavior in the grand jury, and it's going to be for non-disclosure and destruction or loss of favorable evidence. And, none of this is new. We've been alluding to this in the crayon letters for months and months, and none of it was dealt with. And things have come to a head in the last several weeks, and people will see when it's filed. We're very comfortable with where we are and what ought to happen here, and certainly at a minimum, the need for very serious evidentiary hearings on these issues, because misconduct is a very serious allegation, and it's not something that you lob out there without thinking about what you're doing. I mean, lawyers don't throw around those terms, real lawyers anyway, without thinking it through. But there has been egregious misconduct in this case. And in order for the court to rule on those kinds of issues, they need to get all the facts. And if defense attorneys allege and prosecutors deny, you need a hearing on those things. Should have happened in Karen's case, as you know. I think it'll happen in our case. I think that there is a lot of there, and we have a right to call all kinds of witnesses, which will include prosecutors, detectives from the state police, and private citizens as well. And I think that'll happen.
That would be good. That would be excellent to see.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it'll be entertaining for people to watch, but it's important. These things happen from time to time. You have to build a record, and if you're alleging intentional misconduct and prejudice that was caused as a result, you have to have a right to prove your allegations. And if there was intentional misconduct that prejudiced the defendant, then indictments need to be dismissed. That's just the way it is. So I have every expectation and every reason to be optimistic that that's going to happen. Yes, Island Girl, whoever you are. Yeah. I'm optimistic. I don't know if that's a troll or not.
I know, right? It's
yeah. I don't know who you are. It really doesn't matter. But I'm speaking as a lawyer and not as a optimist hoping for the best. We're going on law and fact here.
Someone just posted my next question. I love when people are mind readers. I want to ask you kind of a strange question, because this woman who is at the center of the affidavit from Gene, and also someone that you're looking to put on the stand in this evidentiary hearing, it seems like she's disappeared a lot. She's always online every day, and like the last 7 days or something, or a period of time, an unusual period of time, not that long, but enough for people to notice. They're wondering, do you know anything about her not posting recently?
No, but anything I would have to say about her would be addressed in court filings and under oath on a witness stand. I don't care about her beyond that. she is what she is, right? And she is who she is. Um, she chooses to live her life in the way that she does. God bless her, but you'll be hearing a lot more about her when papers are filed, and if there's a hearing, she'll be there.
Michael Proctor is big time in the news. You've been watching, I'm sure, some of the hearings. Have you seen some of this stuff that
I mean,
going on with the Mass State Police?
not as much as you'd think. Again, I've been on vacation for 2 weeks, came home, been in heavy writing mode. I'm certainly aware what's going on with him. I've seen some of it. I mean, he's entitled to do what he wants to do. Even a dirtbag, disgraced, corrupt cop is entitled to due process. All of us are. Everyone is. I mean, the system can't function without it. So let him have his due process. He'll never be a police officer again. I mean, even if he is reinstated, he can't function as a police officer. He will collect his back pay, whatever he's entitled to, and then resign a day later. I mean, we all know that, right? He's not going to literally work as a police officer. He knows that. We know that. I just think, I certainly hope that he loses. He's an embarrassment to the profession. You'll certainly be hearing a lot more about him in our motion papers and whatnot as well. He's become the poster child for law enforcement corruption, certainly in Massachusetts and perhaps beyond. I just think what he's doing is making a spectacle of the public's confidence in the criminal justice system. I mean, if he had any dignity, he would just go away. On the same token, though, he is entitled to due process. If he wants to try to get his job back symbolically to collect money, I get it. The system allows it. He's not doing anything he's not entitled to do, and I'm able to separate his legal right to do that with my personal belief that he's a scumbag, and if he had any dignity, he would go away. So I don't fault him for what he's doing, but the idea of him as an active duty police officer ever again, that's never going to happen.
There's been some news apparently today that Kelsey Fitzsimmons, the police officer, North Andover police officer, the mom with postpartum depression that was shot by another North Andover police officer, she was given bail by your co-counsel in the Aiden Carney case today, which is, I think it's good news because I feel like she kind of got, I don't know, just no bail for her seems kind of crazy to me when I'm looking at Miles King, who allegedly killed somebody right in front of their mom's house.
So
He gets bail. Like, what do you think of all of that discrepancy between those two cases?
I think there are two totally non-comparable cases, but I'll start with this. Obviously, I mean, Tim didn't grant her bail. His brilliant advocacy resulted in her getting bail, and certainly I'm glad to see that. It's wonderful to see lawyers you work with and work with really well, by the way. I mean, to be clear, when lawyers are kind of thrust together from different jurisdictions and different places, it's not always a winning combination. The good news here is we really enjoy working together and really like each other and support each other. So I'm aware of his cases. He's aware of some of mine. And I'm aware on some level of this case, not the inner workings of what's happening, but just the basics. And I know he's been working hard with his team on that case in getting her bail. And, he's really dedicated, digged in, fought and got it. And I think it's great. And I think there's a lot more to that case than has at least been publicly revealed. I think that's great. The only hesitancy I would have is to compare it to Miles King, who is probably a murderer. Probably he gets due process too. So I don't want to be too judgmental, but let's be clear about him. Although he has a spectacular attorney as well. Let's give props to his counsel and what she's done. It's incredible work. But the reason that guy got bail is due to the sheer incompetence or worse of the people in the DA's office. Okay. Fitzsimmons didn't get bail because of that. She got bail because of a diligent lawyer fighting and arguing and advocating and convincing a judge. King got bail because the judge had no choice. You can't keep a guy in jail for 4 years pending trial and not disclose evidence and commit all these violations and expect the judge to keep you locked up. Now, again, kudos to his lawyer in pressing that point and making that argument. But King is out on a technicality, right? He's out on a due process technicality, fundamental fairness. Fitzsimmons is out due entirely to just incredible advocacy in convincing a judge it's the right thing to do and it's fundamentally fair in terms of it's a triable case and this and that. Again, both lawyers did a great job, but it is a little different. It's a little different.
Yeah, no, it is totally different, especially knowing that the Proctor and the Lally, just their incompetence on this and not giving a crap, like not giving a crap about the victim after they all said, "Oh, John O'Keefe," and they
I,
didn't care about this other kid that got killed.
I would say in the King case that they're incompetent if you're being kind. I mean, that's kind of the best case
Yeah,
scenario.
it's like indifference, right? It's more than incompetence.
But even
what would you
that,
call it? What would you call it?
in a best case scenario, I would call them incompetent and or indifferent. In a worst case scenario, corrupt. I mean, there's no logical explanation for the non-disclosure of the evidence that this murder defendant is entitled to, the search warrants and whatnot. It should never happen. I don't know how it's even possible that it could happen over the course of years. I don't know how it's possible that you could get, a couple of pages of a search warrant affidavit and not know that you're missing others. I don't know how you couldn't follow up on where that evidence is, why you're not doing this. I don't know. I mean, I would say in the best case scenario, they're incompetent or indifferent. In the worst case scenario, they're corrupt. Not that either one is a good thing if you're a lawyer, but both of them have dreadful reputations, dreadful credibility, and both of them have careers that are DOA. I mean, Proctor, in a literal sense, is finished, and Lally is somebody I don't even know how that office with a straight face could ever send him into a courtroom in front of a jury to say a word, knowing that that's the guy who did this, this, and this, and he has no future either. And I would imagine that when Morrissey is out of office in several months, Lally will be unemployed, whether it's voluntary or involuntary, I would think.
Question from Kyle about this 24-page Walsh appeal. Have you seen it? I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen it, but I'm not surprised. I mean, again, I've been a little vacation and like working 12 to 15 hours a day doing stuff, but it's not surprising that when he got denied his suppression motion in substantial part, that he would use this process that they have in Massachusetts, this single justice appeal and whatnot, which is a very interesting thing. They don't allow that in most jurisdictions. Most jurisdictions, you lose a suppression hearing, you're screwed until you get convicted. And then after you've done a couple of years in prison, your case is heard on appeal. And if you win, sorry about what happened. But, it's not all bad in Massachusetts. They have this process that does allow you to kind of stop the trial and do this in advance. So,
you finally got something right. One thing, is that like one thing out of like 1,000?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see where it goes. I mean, Walsh, unfortunately for him, we've talked about this before. There is this terrible thing called the bad guy rule, and that's a hell of a burden for Walsh to overcome. The evidence against him appears overwhelming. Again, admissible or otherwise, the evidence against him appears really powerful, really strong, that he murdered his wife, cut her up, brought her, did all these terrible things. He had a prior conviction for fraud. He just doesn't appear to be a good guy, if you will. And, judges are often very sensitive to, am I going to free a psychopath, probable killer on a technicality? Now, if the law warrants it, you should. You're supposed to do that. But judges are people too. And nobody would feel particularly good, even if it's the right thing to do, to make a decision which could lead to a sociopath being freed and not held accountable for a horrible, probably what is a horrible crime. So the bad guy rule that's a big thing for Walsh. But, I'm not in favor of the bad guy rule. Even a dirtbag like him is entitled to his due process. And if these people in the Norfolk DA's office violated his rights, then they ought to feel the full wrath and fury and consequence of their actions, which may not make the Walsh or the Anna Walsh family happy. It may not make the public feel happy, but the idea is it's meant to rub the DA's nose in it and say, you can't do this. And there are consequences. So, as in terms of the criminal justice system, if a guilty guy goes free due to misconduct by dirty cops and dirty prosecutors, it's a good thing on a macro level. It is for the greater good. It's a horrible thing for the people that would have to be surrounded by Brian Walsh and certainly Anna Walsh's family.
Now, I did see Turtle Boy Live was commenting today. Mega Motion was one.
It is a mega motion. It is.
He seems like he's amped up about this. It's just as much as you are.
Should
You
be.
two's like to be on the, yeah, right?
No, honestly, I'm dating myself, but it's like Network, the classic movie. We're mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. We've kind of been taking it. I guess in the eyes of some people, we've been writing crayon letters and doing things like that and complaining. And well, let's put it.
Who wrote that one? Was that woman I asked about earlier?
That civilian who will be testifying in the event of a hearing, who has a Twitter law degree.
He says you write with crayons. That's funny. She eats crayons. Like she's like, come on, like. Oh man.
Listen, the things that happened that we now are aware of that happened in the grand jury, given some of the discovery that we've received, the things that have happened that we've recently learned that are deleted or don't exist, that we've recently learned were outsourced by these prosecutors to private civilians. We have a right to evidence and we have a right to argue about the credibility of witnesses and sources. And it's not satisfactory for a prosecutor to say, well, stuff gets deleted, it's not our fault. It actually is. When evidence is in the prosecution's possession, custody, or control, they're obligated to preserve it and disclose it. And, these crayon letters have been going on for more than a year, demanding evidence that we never got because they never responded to it. Well, now, if you don't respond to it, and that's the whole purpose of letters like this, do what you're supposed to do. And if you don't, you take it to a judge. And that has always been the plan. But you always want to assume that a prosecutor is going to do what they're supposed to do and turn over what they're going to do. So, where I come from and where I practice for over 25 years, there's a method to the madness. There's a way you do things. And the fact that a bunch of, internet trolls and Twitter trolls don't understand how that works doesn't really mean much to us.
Yeah,
We're doing it the way lawyers do this, not the way Twitter trolls and Twitter lawyers tell us how to.
It's funny because, like, people say the letters work.
Of course,
it's so funny when they come at you with that shit because it just shows you how stupid their shit is. Because everyone comes to you they know you have the experience. They know everybody. 99.99999% people know. Like, So when they
It's
do that, it's just like you can't win with false facts that everyone knows are
no,
false.
but
It's just
it's
like so
also
stupid. So or false attacks even. I want to ask you that because you're an expert. This is one big question I want to ask you about Karen Reed because Karen Reed and Jackson were on Howie Carr today, and Jackson said something that I never thought of or even heard in the entire discussion about Proctor and Higgins and this other guy, Matt Kelch, testifying, saying that it would be hard to subpoena federal agents. Have you ever subpoenaed? I know you defended an FBI agent. Have you ever subpoenaed any FBI or any federal agents? And is it difficult? Like, what's the process? What's the issue? Because it seems like Jackson was saying that was a big issue why they weren't calling some of the witnesses.
well, it is extraordinarily hard because again, there are principles of federalism and jurisdiction, and a state court has no jurisdiction over federal courts or federal officials. So you can't just issue a state court, Norfolk County Superior Court subpoena to a federal officer. It's very complicated. It can be done, but it has to be done through the federal government. And it can be a process, as you've seen a lot of things, the TUI stuff. You see what's going on with Walsh and King or whatever, getting all this federal stuff. It's hard. So it's not impossible. It's difficult. It's time consuming. They don't want to do it. If there's a way to avoid it, they will. I can't speak to why they didn't do it or what the cost benefit analysis of doing it was. But it is extraordinarily difficult in state court to get subpoenas to try to summon a federal officer to appear. I mean, America is based on principles of federalism, right? And state court has no real power over federal authorities. The opposite, by the way, is not true, but that's part of federalism, right? The federal government is above the state government. But tactically or strategically, why they didn't want to deal with federal agents, I don't know.
It was interesting to hear that today. I never, that was new. That was new. You know what else was new was the casting for the movie where Karen Reed was calling out the actress because of the age discrepancy and she hadn't talked to her. I thought that was interesting, especially when Mazza is putting up. Mazza has a post about you and I trying to cast us in a movie that is
I'm
not
not
going to happen because I'm
Broderick.
not in the movie. I'm
Yeah.
not in any movies, but who did he pick for you and who did you pick? Because I thought it was funny.
I, I think he had me as Matthew Broderick. It could be worse. And he
I like
had you
Matthew Broderick.
as Buck, which, by the way, was a doppelganger. That was really good. No, historically, people told me this is years ago before the hair turned and whatever, that Charlie Sheen. So I just went with that. Some people said Kevin Pollak.
I like
There's
Kevin
always
Pollak.
trolls who say Danny DeVito, whatever. Uh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think Kevin Pollak. I think Kevin Pollak could do you perfect. I think
Um,
he would nail it. Yeah.
Alan Ruck, I thought was a great one for you. That fit. But yeah, no. When I heard about Elizabeth Banks and then learned today that that was surprising and there had been no contact, that was very surprising to me, actually. It's kind of an unauthorized, if you will, production. It's not their production, and on some level, they've lost control over that, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah. I like that. I don't even know who he is really. Alan Ruck. I like that better than this one,
So
which is
Alan Ruck is
what I.
Cameron from
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller, his friend Cameron.
Oh yeah, I know who he is because I saw that
Also,
movie. Can't I didn't know he was Cameron. That makes
you
sense now.
obviously also didn't watch Succession, the great HBO show, which is a top 5 for me all time. But Alan Ruck is kind of the odd son in Succession who has this idea: I'm going to run for president. I won't. You should watch Succession. But
Because this is what I often got in the past. This is Jay DeMasi says
Tom
Mike
Green,
should be actor Tom Green, and that's like no.
yeah,
I
no,
don't
you
rub
don't
my
want
bum on stuff and do all the weird stuff. I'm not a weirdo like Tom Green.
Alan Ruck is an upgrade from Tom.
Yeah, I would like Al. That's what I'm saying. I think Mazza was good for me, not good on your pick.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, Kevin Pollak would be good.
Hey, listen, whatever. I mean, I take what I can get. This is a fun exercise. I have a strong feeling that a movie about this doesn't go that far afield.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely. I mean,
We're
you
having,
might get a chance. It's funny because I started listening to the podcast that movie's based on. It's called Karen.
I
One
don't
of the
even,
first voices I heard was friggin' Grant Smith Ellis.
oh
And then
God.
later on, I thought I was hearing you on there, and I'm like, are they ripping from the shows? It seemed like that. And then I'm like, I swear to God, I think it was their host, and he was repeating what you said. So I don't
I,
know. You may I don't know.
I certainly would never voluntarily have participated in a podcast
Yeah,
where the they're setting the
I
bar
know.
at,
I know.
the
Grant
interview.
Smith Ellis.
I mean, I just find that embarrassing for a lot
I
of different
know.
reasons. So I
But
don't
they
know.
did have a lot on Turtle Boy in that one too. So I'm gonna have to listen more. I only had a couple minutes to listen to that today, so I
I
haven't
don't even
really
know
listened
what
to the
it
whole
is.
thing.
I don't
But
know
it's
what.
interesting. It's interesting that they, to see how they actually put that podcast together because I had never heard of it until this whole movie thing came out.
I don't even know that one.
I know. I mean, how many podcasts are there on Karen Reed? I remember in the very beginning when there was like one.
Yeah.
It's called Turtle Boy. And then there was like Yellow Cottage Tales for a minute. And then it was LTL, myself, and the Galera, basically. I mean, those are the shows. We were the first like 4 or 5 shows to really get into it, I think. There were maybe a couple more. Maybe Sean McDonough later he had a show, but I don't know. I can remember that far back. It was like, and now there's like hundreds of them. There's just, it's
Yeah.
funny
No,
how
well, people, it's a story and people want a piece of it. I understand it.
they do. They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Aiden's in the chat. I just saw him post a comment. I'll try to get that up in a second. Anything, you made some posts that I was interested in,
Hmm.
and you may not be able to talk about this again. Epstein. What's go? I should read Turtle Boy's thing before we go to Epstein. Turtle Boy Live says episode 3 of that podcast was all about me, so I assume they're gonna cast me, which could be a legal issue. Can that be an illegal issue? How does that work if it's a movie that's based on real life, but it's cast like
I
can
mean,
that
it's
be a legal issue? I don't even know.
complicated.
You like,
I'm not an entertainment
yeah,
lawyer.
you don't know.
So, I've had some dealings with people negotiating entertainment rights, but it all depends on, do you have rights? Have you sold them? Are they exclusive? Are there options? It does get complicated, and so I don't even fully know, and I don't even know what podcast we're talking about, to be honest.
It's called Karen. That's all it's called,
I
Karen. That's what.
don't even
Yeah,
know.
it's interesting. I know. I know. I didn't know anything about it until this movie got cast. But I just go back to that question I had asked you before I posted it up for Maiden. Um, Epstein. You had made some post about
I
Jeffrey
have.
Epstein and his victims, and
So yeah, I mean, I've gotten a lot of feedback and political stuff about this, and I want to be careful about this, but I'm involved in it. Okay, I'm not doing this as just some random lawyer following a situation. And of course, Jeffrey Epstein is a dead pedophile, so he's not that interesting in the sense of anything. His friend, girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, who's doing 20 years in federal prison, rightfully so, by the way. And this is not a political thing. Don't even get me started with Trump or not Trump. I'm not interested. It is what it is. I know a lot more about Ghislaine Maxwell and her crimes, both charged and uncharged, than anyone else who wants to talk about Trump and pardons and other people. Okay, so I'm not interested in the politics of it. But so I don't want to get into too much detail, but Ghislaine Maxwell is a sex predator. She is rightfully convicted, and there's been a lot of news in the past several weeks because she wanted to speak to the authorities. And if you look at the transcripts that were released a week ago, that meeting was her request. Let's be clear about that. That was her idea and her very, very skilled lawyer. And perhaps she read the political tea leaves and whatnot about this so-called Epstein list, that there never was an Epstein list. The Epstein list is not a thing. It's kind of a red herring, okay? But what I had said publicly was that Ghislaine Maxwell is a criminal who belongs in prison, and that if you think she's going to talk her way into a pardon and get out of prison and have her crimes forgiven because she's going to tell the Justice Department that Donald Trump didn't do anything, you're delusional, okay? And this has nothing to do with Trump. Let me be very clear. The point is, she's not going to get out of prison because she said, I don't know anything about Trump. The other thing you have to recognize, if you looked at the transcripts of her interviews or listened to the recordings, as we all believed who do this for a living, she spoke to the Justice Department with what's called Queen for a Day immunity, which is not much. It just means anything you tell me today, I'm not going to use against you in a subsequent prosecution. She didn't get immunity, okay? And the idea that Ghislaine Maxwell would speak to the government and tell the truth is zero. And the reason it's zero is because for her to tell the truth on everything, she would have to talk about a lot of famous people that'll blow your mind when it goes public, okay? And
Are the
upset
names that we don't know? Because I mean, there's Clinton, there's Trump may have been on the plane. Who knows, right? But
well,
are
there
there
are
names that
names.
we don't know that outside of that little list? Do you know what I mean? Are
I
there
mean, there
names
are
that we don't
names
know?
known and unknown, certainly,
Really?
in the political world, in the entertainment world, in the music world, in the Hollywood world,
Mm.
other forms of entertainment, stuff that would blow your mind. When
Can you just promise me it's not Eddie Vedder? It's not Eddie Vedder, right?
it's not Eddie Vedder.
Not Eddie Vedder. Thank
You
you.
come from my generation and certain musicians and people, you'd be really upset.
Boy, that's what I'm
Really,
not gonna like. That's what I'm not gonna like.
really upset. But putting all that aside, the point was this. She's never going to tell the truth because telling the truth means incriminating herself and others. And she's not going to do that. And I've read the transcripts of what she said, and it's my very strong opinion based on what I know through reasons that we need not talk about today, that she's not telling the truth. She's just not. And there are people who should be very concerned. What angle is she playing? I don't know. I thought her lawyer made some very foolish comments saying she did tell the truth. It just leads me to believe that he doesn't know what she did and knows. And that happens, right? But they've taken a very strong position, her lawyers, that she's, being candid and forthright, and she's not. And this is something I've been involved with for a long time. It's the worst situation I've ever been involved with in my life. It's the worst crimes I've ever seen or experienced in my life. And it's certainly my hope and expectation that there will be prosecutions here and abroad that bring all of these people to justice, whoever they are, whatever political party, let's be very clear, whoever they are, get them all. Okay. I don't care. It's not a political thing. And my only point was, if they're going to do that, Ghislaine Maxwell is going to be at the defense table. Don't kid yourself. Okay. Unless she, decides to tell the truth. And I can tell you, based upon the transcripts that were released by the Justice Department, based on what I know, and in my opinion, she's not doing that. Okay. Yeah. And so these people who despise the president, which is fine. A lot of people don't like him. I get it. Believe me. And say, oh, this is all a corrupt presidential thing by Trump to, protect himself. Put your politics aside, check yourselves, take a deep breath. there is 0.0% chance that Ghislaine Maxwell is getting a pardon based on what she's telling them. And don't listen to what her lawyer says. Don't listen to what you read in the news. It's not going to happen, because in order for her to tell the truth, it's going to harm her. It's going to harm Epstein, which nobody gives a shit about, right? He's a dead pedophile. It's going to keep her in prison, and it's going to put a lot of other people, very famous people, politically powerful, some of the most prominent people in the music world, Hollywood world, business world. You could go on, and everybody should take a deep breath, assuming that, she's going to get pardoned. And the thing for me is this: Epstein is not the issue. He's dead. Okay. In a political sense, everybody's talking about Epstein politically, and who does he know, and who's on this list that doesn't really exist. Jeffrey Epstein did not make a list of, these are the people I raped girls with. Okay. There's no list. That doesn't work that way. No, there's no list. It's not about his flight manifests and those kinds of things. But the larger point is this: none of this is about Jeffrey Epstein. You can't do anything to him. He's dead. It's about the rapists and sex traffickers who are with us, who need to be prosecuted. Okay. So it's not about Epstein. Now, Maxwell is very much living and involved and part of this, but forget Epstein. He's just a dead rapist piece of shit, but he's dead. You can't do anything to him. You got to get the people who are responsible for this. And the real test for people will be, where is your courage when it turns out that these are your political heroes, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, or about your music taste? My music tastes have changed dramatically. There's certain music today I don't listen to anymore. I've deleted it. I can't. Yeah. Music I grew up with, they're dead to me. Actors, they're dead to me. This will all come out in due course. But
wow,
that's, none of this is really about Epstein. It's about the living criminals, not the dead pedophiles.
I hope they get them all. Like you said, I don't care what party they're in, or who they are. As care if it's my favorite musician. Like, if they did that shit, like,
yep. Think your musician's okay though, so you're good.
My guy's all right. He's the only one that's still like alive. Like, they're all dead. Like Chris Cornell, they're all dead. They keep dying. I like Bruce Springsteen kind of, but yeah. There's some others I could say, but yeah, that would devastate me.
I'm not gonna name names, but it is shocking.
Oh, let me ask you this question too. Like, if I know you said this will never happen, but let's pretend it did happen. Would the states file, like, if she ever did get released, would the states ever file charges to put her in, or is it possible that the feds might file other charges against her?
That's
if she ever did get pardoned.
Well, Ghislaine Maxwell won't get pardoned because she's exposed in other uncharged crimes. Federal pardon for her is not a real thing. And forget the media, forget her lawyers. People, cut it out. It's never going to happen. Trust me. It's never going to happen, a pardon. Now, whatever were to happen with her, if, and again, we talked about federalism earlier. Ghislaine Maxwell committed all kinds of crimes in New York, Florida, abroad, elsewhere. If she were somehow out of her federal situation on her past crimes, could the state of New York grab her up for the? No, because double jeopardy federalism principles, New York State cannot prosecute what the feds did. The opposite is not true. Again, those are principles of federalism, but Ghislaine Maxwell has potential exposure for uncharged crimes for which there is no statute of limitations, both under 18 USC 1591, the Mann Act, all other kinds of crimes we could talk about, all night and day, that are federal sex crimes and sex trafficking. And in New York State as well as their rape crimes. So could she be prosecuted in New York State for other uncharged crimes? Absolutely. Not for the past crimes for which she's been prosecuted.
Prosecuted yet for. Yeah.
He is in delusion land if she thinks she's getting pardoned.
Good to hear. Because she was part of this. I mean, not only did she recruit these girls, she knew exactly what she was getting them into, but she even physically participated in this shit. Like she was part of it.
I'm not gonna like comment on what she did. She is rightfully in prison,
exactly,
and she has exposure to uncharged federal crimes, which, you know, under 18 USC 1591, sex trafficking, the Mann Act, and other crimes, which have no statute of limitations and allow for life sentences or up to 30 years for certain other crimes. People, she's not getting pardoned because she says, I don't know what Donald Trump did or didn't do. That's not going to happen.
To get back to your client, Aiden Carney, is, like we said, coming up on a court hearing September 24th. He's got a lot of motions, a lot of hearings. I know he's raised a lot of money, but I imagine he still needs the donations, doesn't he? I mean, how much is this costing him? I mean, at this point.
I mean, look, I'm not going to talk about legal fees, you know, publicly, but a lot. You know, he has 2 lawyers working hard, working full time. They just keep coming and coming and coming and never stop, as you know. So I'm not comfortable in fundraising and advocating to, you know, make donations when they potentially could come to me, right? You know, it's potentially conflictual, and I'm certainly not disencouraging people to donate to him. But legal fees are a lot. And I certainly, and, you know, if people want to donate to him or anyone else, they should. And, you know, I'm certainly aware.
I just wanted to raise it. I don't want to put you in a tough spot, but
No,
the reason I want to raise it is because, you know, I've been fundraising for my legal offense.
Yeah.
People like questioning it. And I realize like how much this shit costs and how much like the bills are, even just for my little shitty
lawyers,
civil thing. And I'm looking at Aiden's thing, and I imagine it's got to be a lot. It's got to be a real, like, way more than people think.
It is. It's been going on for years. It's, you know, again, there are multiple lawyers, all kinds of things are happening. You know, they just keep charging and charging and charging, court appearances, this and that. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to sit here and say hand out money. It is what it is. You know, having said that, I'm not against it. You know, I'm aware that there is an event coming up, you know, in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be there, by the way, for that.
You are? Where is this? Oh, the Wilbur.
Yeah, I'm going to that. I am.
You got tickets.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to go and, you know, enjoy the evening, see some people, be fun. Haven't seen a lot of these people in a lot of time. And then I'll be there a couple of weeks later for court. This comment is the smartest comment that's ever been written in the history.
Just posted, Mark is the best money I've ever spent, worth every penny.
Clearly, I'm not charging enough. But, you know, all kidding aside, these things cost a ton of money, so many hours, and it's lawyers, it's paralegals, it's volunteers, it's insane with
printing too. I mean, imagine what the printing costs are and the subpoenas and all this.
Name it.
Right? I mean, just court costs.
It's not all just legal fees. It's expenses. You know, someone like me who lives here, to get there, it costs money. You know,
food.
It costs everyone money, but you know, again, it's a real team here, and it's not just lawyers. There's incredible paralegals, incredible assistants that everyone's familiar with, and you know, the only good thing I can say is it's easy to get people to want to do it because they believe in the cause. this is one of the frankly silliest and ill-advised prosecutions I've ever seen. I mean, it doesn't matter what you think, whether you agree with a person's politics or their manner or method of entertainment or bringing out news, but the idea that someone should be charged with crimes for reporting news and offending people in that process, whether you find it personally offensive or not, that it rises to a level of sending someone to prison. I mean, Massachusetts is a strange place. I mean, I don't know what else to say. And I say that with all sincerity as a masshole, Oh, you went silent.
He said, "I know you love Massachusetts. I
I
do too."
do.
And
I'm just embarrassed. Their
I
legal
mean, we can criticize it because we live, even though you don't live here, you're still here. You come back for the Celtics games and the Patriots, and
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously it's where I'm from and it's what it is, but it is surprising that the legal system there is so messed up. I mean, you would think it's the cradle of liberty, right? I mean, it's literally that kind of place. You would expect Massachusetts to be so fiercely defensive of a defendant's right to due process and those sort of things. And at least in the limited time that I've been there in a professional capacity and what I've seen, it's just a freaking nightmare.
we have everyone in the chat tonight. We got Olivia Nile. I saw Kelly Reed is here. Aiden is obviously here.
You have no
all-stars.
idea, by the way, what an asset Olivia has been to our group and what we're doing. So she's listening. She knows that. I don't need to say it publicly, but I'm happy to say it publicly. What an asset. You have no idea.
That's right. Actually, we have a comment from her. We got so many good comments right now. I'm looking at Olivia Lyle says, "Remember when Mello claimed Aiden had made $5 million off his reporting on the Karen Reed case?" LOL. Mello is posting on Twitter at like Ron DeSantis. I noticed, and Aiden was responding to him. Do you remember this? This is pretty funny that he made $5 million.
No, I didn't know that. And if that's true, then I damn well am not charging enough. And that's an offline conversation maybe we'll be having as soon as we're done.
I don't know where he got that number. Like, where does he just make up that number? Like,
I don't know. Maybe he found it when he brought the internet to court. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't familiar with this. I mean, that's obviously ludicrous. I did see he was tweeting and there was a comment yesterday, which, on the one hand, you're like, God, why are you doing this? On the other hand, I have to confess, it was funny. I mean, it really was about, commenting about criticizing the Wall Street Journal. He said, "Where's my discovery?" You have to laugh. Even
I know it was funny. It's just like I was like thinking about posting some comments, and I was just like, I can't top that. I can't top what Aiden's doing. Just laugh and shit. I don't know if I shared it, but I was laughing. I was like, I'm waiting for Mello. Is he going to respond? Is he going to have a response, or is he going to say stop bullying me and harassing me? He was actually, some turtle riders were coming after him. And he's saying, "You guys are cult members. You guys are cult members."
Let me be clear. He's a member of the bar. We're going to have some very strong comments about him in the motion, but that's on a professional level. I don't think people should be attacking him personally online. I don't endorse that. I don't control it, obviously, but I don't think that, prosecutors should be getting bludgeoned online with personal attacks. It ought to be, between the hash marks, as they say, on the field of battle. And believe me, we have a lot of bruising comments to say about what he's done in this case. But, I don't think in his private, personal life, even if he wants to comment on Twitter, it's just my opinion. I don't think people should be attacking him. And if you are, I would ask you not to. You're not helping.
You know, suggest anyone do that.
No.
Funny, we have two. Charlie is acting up. I'm going to give him another treat. But Olivia and Turtle Boy both have a response on that $5 million
Uh-oh.
thing, and I think it's interesting because both could be plausible and they're both different. And Olivia says he pulled it out of thin air, or his informant told him that, and it was just trust me, bro. So that's possible. Maybe that woman we haven't named her tonight. I like how we're not even naming her because she's such a joke. Turtle Boy says there is an Irish rugby player on Wikipedia whose net worth is 5 million, and his name is Aiden Carney.
Who knew?
Who knew? Who knew?
Who knew?
I mean, that's probably It's probably that woman probably looked it up and sent it to Mello, knowing he's so stupid.
I mean,
man.
Again, my comments about Mello will be in legal briefs and in court.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I am sorry. I'm not putting you in a spot.
I'm not a moral.
Lucy.
People can opine whatever they want, but I'm not going to attack a lawyer.
I don't want to get you in trouble. Never. So yeah, it's pretty funny. It just interesting to see some of the comments about it. I love that you're talking about the Epstein stuff. I want to hear more about that when you can. And
yeah, I mean,
really
look,
looking forward. Is there any type of timeline you think that we might be able to find out more about what's really going on there?
All I would say is when people say it's about Epstein, that's you're falling political.
Yeah, it should be. But we don't know who those other people are. I think once people know who they are, then it will blow up on them.
We know who a lot of them are. I mean,
we do. Yeah.
Again, and I don't want to offend people politically, whatever. But
Bill Clinton's going to be on that list. I know it. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Bill Gates, maybe. Like you said, there's no real list, but we know who flew with this guy. We knew who hung around him. Some of these names we know, but I'm wondering how many of the names we don't know.
We're not just talking about his fly buddies and what may have happened on his island. And again, it's not so much about Epstein. Now, he kept company with a lot of people, but a lot of people who did a lot of bad things, both with him, with Maxwell, and without him, and without Maxwell. So again, Epstein was the one who was arrested in New York in 2019, and certainly in Florida in 2008. And Maxwell had her thing in 2019, I think, as well, months after Epstein died. However he died, we don't need to get into that. But it's really not about Epstein. And what's fascinating is the politics have made this about the list and who he knew. And if you want my honest opinion, one thing Maxwell is not is stupid. She saw the tea leaves. She saw the political scandal that, for whatever reason, was attaching to the president, okay, and wanted to get in there and say, let's talk about Epstein. And I'm telling you, it's not about Epstein. Politically, they're making it about Epstein. And, has the administration kind of bumbled it a little bit by making it about Epstein? Probably. But this is about the living and breathing rapists and pedophiles, not the dead ones.
You can't prosecute a dead person. He's done. He already got prosecuted. So those other ones, I hope I'm looking forward to see what happens there, because I feel like there's a network there that got away with a bunch of you can tell, and there's been a lot of victims. It seems like the media speculates like there's over 100 of them. Do you kind of get that idea that there's hundreds of women that less than that?
I don't know. I mean, I have a particular interest in, again, a certain segment of this situation, and advocate for people that I represent and care about. I certainly am, concerned about other people who might have been victimized by this, but in the same token, I have tunnel vision. I want the bad people to die in prison for the crimes that they committed against one person that I particularly care about and represent. And those have life sentences. So I'm satisfied with that. Having said that, they ought to be held accountable for everything. They should die in prison. They should lose their wealth. They should lose their reputations. They should lose their property. They should lose everything. And, I'm happy to play a part in trying to make that happen.
Really keep us updated. Anytime you want to talk about this stuff,
It's
I'm
sensitive,
all
I mean,
for it. I
obviously,
know.
very
I know it's gonna be. Yeah, it's probably long term too. You probably
yeah,
can't talk about it until it's all done. But
thing,
just
and it's complicated for a lot of different reasons. But people should brace themselves for their heroes, whether it's political entertainment or whatever, and reevaluate who they like. And for the time being, if you don't know who it is, you don't know who it is. But when you do know, you'll see your playlist, it'll change. You'll delete music. You will not watch certain movies. There are things that will go on, and it involves all kinds of people who some have been previously suggested, accused, others maybe not, others you've heard about recently in other forums who were tried for other crimes, who may or may not be bad people. You feel oh, I want them to get away with things because they have lawyers we respect. At the end of the day, you have to separate all that, and these bad people, they need to get what they deserve. And not just me, there's plenty of lawyers working on this kind of stuff, and plenty of prosecutors, plenty of civil lawyers, and there's plenty of lawyers doing their damnedest to make sure it doesn't happen, right? I mean, again, and nobody faults that. Maxwell has superb counsel. Only criticism I would say of him is he said things that clearly are not true, not because he's lying, because he doesn't know.
thank you for sharing all that with us tonight.
Yeah, it's a tough topic. It really is.
Yeah, it's
You lose night over this kind of shit. Believe me.
tough stuff to talk about too.
Yeah.
It's
pretty.
I know how invested you are. Like you can feel it when you're talking about it, and I just know I wouldn't want to be. It's the great thing on this is like those bad people. I wouldn't want to be them with Mark Bederow as my adversary. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, there's plenty of lawyers who can handle it. The only thing I would tell you before we move on is the stuff that you're reading about it politically and the commentary you're seeing about it. It could not be more off base with what is really happening and what is really going on. None of this is about a pardon. It's never going to happen. Move on. She is a criminal with future exposure. Those people don't get pardoned because they say, someone's not involved. That's not how it works.
Thank God. This other question came in I thought was important to ask. Barney Rubble. Is Fred Flintstone in the chat too? Has Aiden ever foregone his right to a speedy trial?
This is another Massachusetts thing. They don't have a speedy trial statute, which is this case in New York is probably dismissed already on statutory speedy trial. These things aren't supposed to take years and years. They don't have it in Massachusetts, so there's really only what they call constitutional speedy trial. It's built into the Bill of Rights, as you know, in the Fifth Amendment. It's a famous Supreme Court case. I think it's Barker versus Wingo, which lays out it takes years and years and years. Constitutional speedy trial is almost never granted. We're not even in that ballpark yet. But one of the huge flaws in Massachusetts, amongst many, is by not having a speedy trial statute, the prosecution has no incentive to get off the schneid and do what they ought to do as they would in New York. Because if they don't do it in New York in a certain period of time, out you go. They literally have no incentive to move this along. None. Zero. Nil. Nada. they can ride this out for another couple of years. And there's no consequences. New York and other places, there'd be very federal court, obviously, there'd be very serious consequences. So, while they're modifying all these Massachusetts laws, one of the laws they ought to consider putting front and center would be speedy trial statute. And the way it works in New York is, in a felony, you have 6 months. And unless there are excludable periods of time and there are legal reasons that would exclude it, motion practice, defendants not available, you can make up all kinds of various reasons. Short of that, if you don't do it in those 6 months, those 180 days, essentially, if you accrue 180 days of what they call chargeable time, case gets dismissed on a misdemeanor in 90 days. And in Massachusetts, it's like a foreign language. Doesn't happen. And that's how these cases drag on for years. I mean, that's how Miles King. Now, in all fairness, in New York, the speedy trial statute does not apply to homicide charges. That's an exception. So let me correct myself. That would not apply in like the King case.
Didn't apply.
Right.
Didn't apply there. We had a question. Well, actually, it was more like a prediction. Darcy says the Patriots will be good this year. Is that going to happen?
So. Cautiously. I mean, good. You have to like set the bar. I mean,
playoffs. Will they get to the playoffs?
Maybe. I mean, I'm thinking like 9-8, 10-7. I think that
exciting.
They have a real coach. They have a real quarterback. They drafted a stud running back from Ohio State who I think is going to be really good. They've got some other good players and a better system in place. They have a very weak schedule. That's the benefit of sucking for last year. I'm going to say 9-8 or 10-7, and if nothing else, be competitive and have an interesting season.
Be exciting.
Yeah,
I like they get the young quarterback too. I mean, he
good young quarterback.
He looks good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be good. Sports changes overnight. I mean, if you had said 3 months ago, which is the next team that we like is going to be likely to win a championship, 100% of us would have said the Celtics. Of course, they're going to repeat or at least come damn close. Now you'd say, my God, I think it's the Red Sox. They actually have a real chance. I'm not predicting they're going to win, but my God, they're actually entertaining and, dare we say it, good. As good as anyone else in the American League anyway. So that's not
I haven't been following that. So it's late August and they're still in the running. I thought they were all done earlier. They came back.
Wild card, they're good. They that nobody has any real faith in their management, upper management. I don't mean Alex Cora. I mean like Craig Breslow type management. But they got rid of basically their best hitter for nothing. I mean, for garbage. But the guy was a cancer in the clubhouse, but they got nothing for him. And you said, why would they do that? It's not going to work. And something has happened since they traded Rafi Devers. They're pretty much one of the top 2-3 teams in baseball. And the team they traded him to is the absolute worst. And that's remarkable to me.
That is remarkable. Yeah. With a good player. But that shows you the mentality of that player, I guess. Jeez.
He wasn't a team guy. He didn't want to play first base. He didn't want to play in the field. And they had too many designated hitters. They lost their flexibility. They gave him up for garbage. And believe me, garbage. The pitcher they got for him is one of the worst players I've ever seen. But they're better without him. They really are.
That's wild.
Yeah.
See that too often. Maybe they should. Maybe he's not worth all that money then.
No, he's somebody else's problem,
he's somebody else's problem now.
Yeah. I mean, I liked Rafi Devers, but they're better off without him. It's hard to believe, but they are.
Right. People are throwing up names now. They got and some of these names were on Flight Manifest. Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker, Naomi Campbell. Bederow's not saying anything. I love it. Don't say anything. I like the we just throw it up and let Bederow just
There's
not
going to
say
be a
anything.
time and place when these people get outed, and they and their families are going to feel it. Okay, and there's going to be a price to pay. Reputations are going to be destroyed. People will be surprised, and you'll be stunned at who some of the worst rapists and sex offenders are. You'll just be stunned out of your mind. But I don't think it's productive to have, like whack-a-mole guess names on, this.
We're not going to do.
Time isn't right, but they will.
It'll be in a court of law.
They will be. Things are going to happen, and they'll have to deal with the consequences for their actions, but not tonight.
We get a lot of Red Sox.
Yeah,
and
no, they're fun to
Patriots.
watch.
A
I
lot
mean,
of people are people
last
are
night
into the Red Sox and Patriots right now. I could see
they
that.
winning home run in the 9th inning last night. I mean, it was incredible to watch.
Yeah.
Steven is dating.
See, these are more names. These are the names I don't want to see. Clowntown USA. He's throwing them all up there. Mark, don't say anything. But I don't want to see these names because some of them I like them.
No, you don't
It's
want
a rock people. I know Steven Tyler is a creep. He's done
you don't
very
want to
creepy
you
shit
don't
in the
want to
past.
like this, but
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah. Um, there was another comment that came in. I don't know where it is. We had too many comments come in. Oh, here it is. This is the one I want to put up. Because you already mentioned this, and I want to make sure people know. The question from Gene D says, "Is Mark going to be at the Wilbur with Aiden on September 12th?" You just said you were going, right?
yeah, as an observer. I mean, I'm not.
Observer. Yeah,
I
you're in
mean,
the audience that night.
yeah,
You're not going to be on stage, but you want to you want to meet people. I know
yeah,
you're very social, and this is a moment for people to kind of look
yeah.
for you in the crowd in the audience, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wish there was a Patriots game that weekend, but there isn't, unfortunately. But are the Red? I think the Red Sox are in town against the Yankees, so maybe I'll make a full weekend out of it. Who knows? But yeah, no, I'll be there. Happy to go. I think it should be entertaining. The idea of Jimmy interviewing Aiden sounds. The human being in me says that sounds really funny. The lawyer in me says, "Why
Trouble.
you do this? Yeah, go home.
Yeah,
Go."
is it trouble? Are you worried about it? Is that why you're there?
No, 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 no. I'm not there to be the hall monitor. No, no,
Yeah,
no.
you're gonna be like this, Jimmy. Stop that question.
If anything, I would just walk out and leave and just say why. No, no, I'm not. I'm not there to. No, I'm there to see some people, have a good time. Haven't been there in a while. Why am I going twice in a month? Because that's the next court date. What can I tell you? I wasn't at the last court date, as you know. I was in Florida. Had problems getting into the Zoom actually, which is a whole nother story. So I had to watch it after. But no, I definitely need to be there for the next court date.
Great, look forward to that. Looking forward to the mega motion too. Um,
Well,
I
people
think
can judge what they call it. It is it's a motion to dismiss for all kinds of reasons, and we don't file these unless we believe in it, and we think it has incredible merit, and if nothing else, it screams for a hearing in which these people need to explain themselves.
what of that, Michelle. I think we did ask this question earlier, but I figured we'd throw it out there again. Mark, can you give us a time frame on when this might come out? I think they're talking about the.
As I said, when the stew is done, I don't know. I mean, we're working on it diligently, but I would just be making up a number and it gets filed when it's done. I don't know. I mean, we have a court date in September. We'd like it to be before then, but you have to do it right, and hopefully before then. I think it will, but again, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of people involved in this, a lot of schedules, a lot of things. We're working on it, and I think it will be, but I don't know.
And there was also the people want to know when the texts will come out. We did kind of ask that earlier.
That's on my pay grade. That's the judge. I mean, look, I think the argument for unimpounding all this stuff is compelling. if the Norfolk DA's office saw fit to submit thousands of emails or thousands of pages of emails from Michael Morrissey's burner account to be released publicly, then I'm struggling to understand why evidence that ought to be disclosed to us in the same format or text messages involving the same people ought to be impounded or under a protective order to prevent a journalist / defendant from having access to it. And the idea that their argument is, well, he might use it. Okay. If you are a fan of the First Amendment, you're familiar with the concept called prior restraint. Okay. And we don't do that in America. Okay. We don't suppress and censor information that is First Amendment freedom under a theory somebody might do something.
Yeah.
If somebody does something, then you deal with the consequences. Okay. In Stalin's time in the Soviet Union and Mao's time in China and other places, you might get away with that. But in America, I thought for the prosecution to argue without using the words, this needs to be held under a protective order because he might use it. I'm just shocked beyond belief that in 2025, any prosecutor in any office, in any county, in any state in these United States would argue, in essence, Judge, we need prior restraint. Don't let him have it because he might use it. If he uses it, act accordingly. But in America, we don't prosecute thought crime. Okay, we don't do that. And that's in essence what they're doing. And you can't forget the fact that this type of material was demanded by people in the public, and the DA's office said, here you go. So explain to me why a criminal defendant isn't entitled to that. And the scary thing is, some of those materials that were publicly released absolutely were discoverable and relevant to our case. We never had them. And for us to get discovery in a public FOIA request from somebody else is crazy.
That it came out through a FOIA.
They have
came out to the public before they gave it to you.
They have no mechanism in place in that office, no checks and balances, no best practices, no common sense in how they're supposed to deal with discovery in these kinds of cases. The place is just a disaster. I mean, it's just an unorganized mess. And, you hope that when one of these people comes in, whoever it is, and cleans it up, that the first thing they do is put some order and sense into how they deal with disclosing evidence, and some policies and some training mechanisms, and just a way that people don't assume that the DA's office is not going to disclose evidence, because that's how people feel about the Norfolk DA's office right now. You just assume you're not going to get what you're entitled to, which is crazy. But I mean, does anybody have any real confidence in the way they do this?
No.
Yeah.
No, that's a standard operating procedure over
Yeah.
there. Delay, exclude, pretend they don't have it. Just that's over and over again.
Yeah.
We saw it.
Yeah. I mean, they're just they need to get their ship in order and get it back on course. And the reality is that's never going to happen when you have the captain of the ship has been steering straight to the iceberg for 20 years. I mean, you need a new captain. That's the bottom line, right?
Nothing's going to change till he's gone. That's it.
Yeah. No, I mean, why would it, right? I mean, if it hasn't changed in all that time, do you think, a 70-year-old guy who's been in government for 45 years, and who, I mean, you've seen some of these emails, he seems to spend all day on his private email, talking about Turtle Boy,
crying about
Turtle Boy.
There's that old saying, old dogs don't change. He's a very old dog. He's not going to change us. There's no way he's changing.
No, I mean, if you've been in government for 50 years or whatever it is, and you've been in power and been the boss man in whatever, what are you going to change tomorrow because people are complaining about how you disclose evidence? It's not going to happen.
Not happening.
No, they need new blood. I mean, I don't think any serious person would disagree with that. I mean, is there anyone who with a straight face who would say this office is a model prosecutor's office in how to do this? I mean, would anybody say that? Would even, some of the Twitter lawyers who think that, Karen Reed causes cancer, I don't think they would say it either.
Now they blame his office for Karen being free. It's funny.
Right.
Now
Exactly.
they've changed their tunes. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. I want to ask a couple more questions on the Karen Reed interview today with Alan Jackson and Howie Carr. Alan, basically laid it out today. I felt like that Karen's going to be suing, and he was saying that
I don't think that's breaking news. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, of course. Why wouldn't she?
I think it's not like surprising, but it's kind of the first time I think we've heard that it's actually like from Alan Jackson himself or Karen Reed that it's going to happen.
I mean, look, if you've alleged for a period of time that you were framed by law enforcement and assisted by civilians, helped cover it up, you get acquitted, rightfully so. All the medical evidence supports you. All the engineering evidence supports you. The only logical conclusion, if you believe the medical and engineering evidence, is that somebody planted evidence against you, the taillight specifically. That's a no-brainer lawsuit to me. Now, you can get in. Federal lawsuits are hard against, prosecutors. They're hard, not nearly as hard against the police because they don't have any form of immunity, not like the prosecutors do. But I mean, if you have a strong allegation that they planted evidence against you intentionally, then that's a 1983 action waiting to happen. I mean, they deliberately violated my civil rights, and if you can establish that by a preponderance of the evidence, you're entitled to own the state. I mean, look what they did to her.
You think she has a good chance federally? Would it be federal or state or
Well,
or?
that's for them to decide. I mean, a federal lawsuit has more difficulties. Other things being equal, you would always choose federal court. It's a better home court for them. Obviously, the state officials aren't going to get any love in state court. I mean, they could sue them and, as part of their other ongoing case, I suppose, in Plymouth, although I don't know the politics of that. But in a perfect world, yeah, you're going to bring a federal lawsuit in Boston where the playing field is leveled and no district judge is going to give a rat's ass about Michael Morrissey and his goon squad or Michael Proctor and his woe is me, I didn't do anything. The jury pool is better, all that kind of thing. But what are they going to do? I mean, I don't know. I'm not privy to their analysis or whatnot, other than to say it's more difficult to sue in federal court. But if a determination is made that it's feasible, then 100 out of 100 times you would do it in federal court if you can. I don't know why they couldn't. Can they sue the DA? It's tricky. I think ever since this Miles King thing happened, it's made it better for them because, you have testimony that you saw several weeks ago where Adam Lally basically said there's no rhyme or reason to anything we do here. We have no policies, and there is a backdoor theory of what's called the Monell claim in a 1983 action where you can bring in the DA or the government under a theory of negligent supervision. Something happens again and again and you don't do any training or remedial action. I mean, to me, I would think that's how you would do it. But again, I'm not privy to that.
Do you think the OUI conviction hurts her on any
No,
of this?
not really. Because I mean, look, she was convicted of drunk driving. It is what it is. But her drunk driving is a totally different issue than what the evidence of the trial was, which was, again, the burden of proof was entirely on the prosecution, but the defense kind of proved, even though they have no burden, through multiple doctors and engineers that there was no car accident, not just in a sense of reasonable doubt, but the better form of evidence is it's absolutely likely, probable, maybe even beyond a reasonable doubt, not that that's the standard in a civil case, that there was no collision, right? And so if there was no collision, you're left with that dirty little fact. Then why are there 40 something pieces of taillights scattered all over the place? And if there was no collision, there's really only one other conclusion. One or more of these dirtbags planted evidence to frame her. And that would be the worst form of a civil rights violation. I mean, talk about an egregious civil rights violation. So she could have easily driven drunk and been framed. So, no, it doesn't help, right? I mean, but I don't think the drunk driving conviction is going to stand in the way of any of this. It has nothing to do with the allegations of what violated her civil rights. I mean, you can be drunk driving and have your civil rights violated, clearly.
What about the damages part? Because I think
That's not going to hurt her damage.
biggest loss is like the fidelity job, and I feel like she might have lost her job on the OUI.
Well, the
like
loss would be a lot. There's that. There's the strain of the stress of 3 years of my life ruined. There's the reputational damage. Now that could be lessened a little by the drunk driving, arguably, not that much, but the loss of employment, the emotional strain, all of that. But all the fees that she had to spend money on for legal fees and beyond that. I mean, I don't think she's going to not have actionable damages because she was convicted of drunk driving, which again, let's not forget that was their choice. And that worked out under one theory. Would it have been better if she wasn't convicted of anything? Of course, but nobody's second guessing. I mean, she was acquitted of anything to do with John O'Keefe.
Excellent. Good to know. I mean, this is it's going to be interesting to see where all these lawsuits.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're all
getting
together. They're ready to launch. I don't think it was a social call today, so to speak.
Yeah, no, it seemed like there was some business today.
Yeah, I mean, I guess most people would have expected some kind of announcement, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, look, again, they can decide how they want to do it, but I mean, I would be stunned if there wasn't some affirmative civil action where they drag some of these people, both law enforcement and civilian, into this.
Definitely. And you could see he was even kind of confirming some names. Howie was asking him some of the names. Ann says, when do we get to see the sidebars? This is from the Karen Reed trial. We haven't seen the sidebars. What's up with that? Does that happen in New York ever?
No. I mean, again, I don't know why. Well, two things. I don't know why everything is done at sidebar. If everything was done in what I would call the normal course of a trial, 50% of what is sealed at the sidebar would never be sealed because it would have just been argument in open court. Now, that's not to say when we have trials in New York, there are, judge, can we approach and you talk off the record? For sure. The other thing is this. A lot of times when you talk at a sidebar, there's no court report. Not always. Not everything goes on the record. But in this case, they put everything on the record at sidebar. It's a little unique. We don't usually see it. Why they would still be sealed in the way they are, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why everything was done at sidebar in the first instance. It makes absolutely no sense to me. I hope it doesn't happen to us when we try our case, but whatever. I'm just a guest here.
We'll take this one more question. Do you know what's going on with the O'Keefe civil trial against Karen? I really don't know much about this at all.
No,
Do you know anything about it?
No. I mean, I don't think it's a great lawsuit. I mean, it's a wrongful death suit. They're claiming Karen caused his death, and the reality is there is substantial evidence that she didn't cause John O'Keefe's death, medical and engineering. So whether the bars want to settle over serving, that's on them. I didn't pay that much attention to this, but I saw some of the motion papers going back and forth maybe a week or so ago. And, Karen's legal team made the frankly correct legal argument that there was no recognizable claim for, intentional or negligent infliction of emotional distress based upon people that were not present, like John O'Keefe's parents. And then a lot of the Twitter lawyers and other idiots got very critical, saying, what a scumbag argument. And it's like, no, dummy, that's called a correct legal argument. It doesn't mean that they're heartless Grinches who don't think that the O'Keefes suffered, but it means there's no recognizable legal claim. And the reason is you can't have everybody sue for every terrible thing that happens in life. I mean, if something, God forbid, were to happen to your family member across the country and you learn about it, no law is going to say, well, Mike, you can sue for that because you're upset. Now, that's a very different thing. If you're with someone and you watch them get mowed down and die in front of you, that's different. That's all that legal principle is. So when you see these Twitter yahoos, trolls, and morons talk about, these heartless arguments and how they have no soul, no, they're just being intelligent lawyers arguing well-founded black letter law that has existed for years. It's not even an interesting legal argument. And in fact, if Karen's lawyers did not make that argument, then they would be subjected to malpractice by not making that argument. So, Twitter trolls and lawyers and mafia members and whatnot, they just should be ignored. They're agitators, they provoke, they engage, but I mean, I don't know why anybody would be concerned what someone with a, ninth grade education, I assume, and, a little Twitter access would criticize lawyers who make what is just a very standard, proper legal argument. Doesn't mean they're heartless. It just means the law doesn't recognize a theory of recovery that the plaintiffs are going for. And if you don't make that argument as defense counsel, then you're incompetent and committing potential malpractice. This is a nothing burger.
Of course. I mean, these people are not reasonable making these arguments on Twitter. The Twitter lawyer Sue says, why can't Karen get her car back? What do you think about that? Because apparently she got her phone back, is what I'm hearing, but not the car. What's
car's more complicated than the phone. I don't know why literally she can't get the car back. I assume because you can't get anyone in the DA's office to answer the phone and do all that kind of stuff. But I don't know what the forfeiture situation is. I know in New York, a lot of times they'll try to forfeit your car in a DWI. This started when Giuliani was mayor. So you could make an argument that because she was convicted of DWI, that's the instrumentality of a crime and it ought to be forfeited. I don't think that's what the DA did. So I don't think that's the answer. It just makes it more complicated. But I don't know. I'm sure they've been trying. I'm sure nobody at the DA's office wants to help. Nobody wants to answer a call. I know they had to file a motion when they had filed a motion saying that, we can't get Lally to return a phone call. Shocker. But it's one of these, I think it's like one of these Chinatown things. It's the way it is there. They don't care. They truly don't care.
That's it. They don't care.
No.
I mean, that's what I felt like with Proctor and Lally with that King. It's just like they just don't care.
Well, clearly. I mean, that was sad to watch. I mean, that was one of the most just hapless, pathetic experiences I've had watching testimony where a prosecutor could not have cared less about the fact that he didn't disclose evidence for years in a murder case and just had no answers and didn't care. And I mean, I think I probably said this to you earlier. I think a real DA would have fired him that day, to be honest with you. Just like, if you don't care, we don't care. You need to go. I mean, I've never seen just a level of being a schlub and not caring about an awesome responsibility that you have. Even if you want to prosecute a scumbag, you have to do it fairly. And you can't have this guy rot in jail without a trial. And your negligence and incompetence, or worse, got him out. I mean, he's only out because Lally and Proctor can't do their job, right?
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is
Yeah.
sick. And if he's guilty, he doesn't
gets in a limo and he's counting cash and he's like acting like it's really gross. I feel
But
bad for the kids, parents, the mom.
right. But on the other
Happened
hand,
in front of her house.
if the prosecutor and the cops don't do their job, then that's what happens. And so what do? The answer is you vote the bums out and fire the incompetent prosecutors. I mean, it's not rocket science. You need new people.
Well, that's going to happen. I mean, that's just a matter of time.
I agree. I don't even think
he's got single digits. I mean, I definitely don't think he's going to run, but
I don't think so.
Know. He's crazy. He's crazy. I think he's going to wait another 6 months and he's praying that people will change their mind. You saw how delusional he was with those emails.
I agree. Although I got to tell you that I can't name the people that are running for DA. They're not out there. They're not voting.
Juna's working it. I mean, she's not working it as hard as I want to see it, but she is working regularly on it. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think it really matters in the end. Somebody's going to win, not him.
Well, I mean, but I think it's a two-tier problem. I mean, obviously you don't want him there, but I think it would be a mistake to be apathetic for the voting people to say, well, we want Morrissey out, but just give me one eeny, meeny, miny, mo, one of these three without knowing anything about them. I think that's pretty irresponsible too. And I mean, I don't know what these people are doing, but I don't know why they're not out there loud and out and running on a platform other than I'm not Morrissey. Tell us what you will do. Not that he's terrible, but what will you do to change this? And I mean, I'm not paying attention because I don't live there, but I don't think any of them are really doing that as far as I've seen. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I'm watching Juna. She's campaigning. Like she's the only one I really see doing like the going out to the Democratic committee, local.
What's her platform? I mean, what does she stand for other than I'm not Morrissey and I won't use my Gmail?
Transparency, I would say. I would also say victims' rights. That's her big thing, especially sex crimes and things like that. But I don't want to represent her. I get it. I think she could. I think she could be better at campaigning. I think the problem with the three candidates is none of them are politicians. Do you know what I mean? They're all newcomers. They're not good at this stuff. They're not like professional campaigners. Like I think sometimes it's you get better.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think somebody who is more a lawyer as opposed to a hack is a bad thing. But the reality is, as the DA, the elected DA, you're not trying cases, you're not turning over discovery, you're on a much larger macro political type of situation, and you need to be familiar with that. Budgets, decisions, this but not that. It's a lot different than being a traditional lawyer.
Wrapping up, but this was a good question. Mark, do you think Morrissey's emails released strategic to put the people that he helped out on notice that they need to support him to keep their secrets?
No, I think he's toast. I mean, at this point, I think he's hapless. If that were the case, I think they would have redacted some of the other emails. I think there were some very embarrassing emails between him and the attorney general and perhaps other people. I mean, they, in some sense, it's not, the AG doesn't look bad. Morrissey looks bad. These other emails that he's sending about this and that, I mean, he looks like the fool. I don't think, maybe, I mean, I guess, I don't know really. I mean, we're speculating, but I mean, I think he's dead man walking, politically speaking, obviously. So I just think there was a FOIA request. They had to do it. There was a good faith basis to check his Gmail account or iCloud account, which, by the way, is because of us. None of this happens but for evidence that we gathered from a private party in Aiden's case. If we don't get that evidence, nobody knows about his iCloud account. Nobody. It is because a private citizen who was mistreated by him abusing that email on a witch hunt with a Stoughton court and other people and doing that provided us with that, and we established that he was doing that this all happened. So
That's amazing. So he had messed with Michelle Littlefield, who sometimes
right.
watches the show. She's in the community. Wow, that's amazing. His own
None of that ever comes out.
bad act.
None of you
came
know
out.
nothing about his
Wow.
iCloud
His
account.
cheesy, any of that stuff. Yeah.
He didn't
Wow,
turn
that's
that
unbelievable.
over.
He's an idiot. I mean, he really is. Keep stepping in it, buddy. This is a good comment because I think this is what you're saying too. What Kate's saying. She's saying, and I agree with you. And I think a part of the issue with Juna, anyways, is she works full time. But it's like at a certain point, you have to like spend some days not working full time. Kate says it's interesting because with the YSL Rico case, Courtney Kramer was doing what Mark is suggesting when she ran against Fannie Willis. She was speaking about the wrongful prosecutions and waste of money, like outside of court, right? Like, I mean, the whole Karen Reed trial, those candidates should have been out there. They should have been soaking up all that free media with the cameras out there.
I think
is that kind of what you mean?
Kind of. I mean, I think they've yielded a lot. I don't think they should have like literally taken sides and supported Karen Reed. I think that's actually unseemly. I mean, it's a criminal case working its way through court. You should have no opinion about the evidence in the courtroom. But in terms of stuff that you're learning about the resources and some of these allegations with Proctor, yeah, I think that's certainly something that candidates should be commenting on. The other thing is this: if you're running to be DA, to me, that's a full-time job. I mean, I don't think if you're running for DA, you should be working a couple hours a day on that and doing other things. And again, that's a personal choice. It could be a financial choice. But if you're running for DA, I think the message you should be sending to the public is, I'm all in all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Here's why I should be DA. I believe in this. I don't know if that's feasible in this situation, but it's also risky. If you're in private practice and running for DA, you get involved in a tricky case or a tricky situation. You don't want to do something where you're conflicted. This helps my client, but what if it looks bad for, you can create ethical quandaries. So to me, I would think that if you're running for DA, that is a full-time job, not.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people who've run for office and I see them do it both ways, and it's always better if you can go all in. I mean,
I mean, you want to avoid conflicts and ethical issues and avoid the trouble that obviously, I mean, look at the DA's office now. It has no credibility because so many people just assume that they're incompetent and or worse. I mean, you don't want to start out like that.
No doubt about it. I want to thank you, Attorney Mark Bederow, for being here tonight. We did mention Aiden's Defense Fund. We do have it pinned in the chat. If people want to donate, you can throw down, support the defense, which will, make sure that he gets the best defense, which is Mark Bederow here and Tim Bradle and all their paralegals that they have. I know Courtney, she's phenomenal. I like Courtney a lot. Is there any last thoughts anything that we didn't bring up tonight, or anything you want to share, anyone you want to shout out, thank, anything you want to say tonight?
I mean, no, I mean, I've been out of the loop for a couple of weeks. I guess the only thing I would add is, one of the things I do when I'm in like heavy writing mode for like 13, 14 hours a day, you need breaks, as you can imagine. So sometimes the therapy becomes the dreaded Twitter scroll, right? So I did a few of those today, and I think we have reached code red on 70% of the people on Twitter need a break, man. They need to just.
God. Yeah, I think I need a break from reading it. I don't even read it either. I'm just like, it's like, what is going on here?
Holy crap! Have people lost their minds in terms of fighting, arguing, provoking, agitating, complaining, whining, drama? Like,
Settling scores.
wow! I just take a break, man. If it's
Yeah,
that,
take a break. Everyone take a break. Seriously. We've been
that's,
on Twitter too much. It's hard.
yeah,
It gets addictive. Like, yeah, people need to
it can.
stop.
It can. Yeah. It just it seems
But it's funny because I like a lot of them, like on
no, no,
both
yeah, I just
sides.
sure.
And
No,
I'm
I
like, and they're all trying to get me to pick a side, and I'm just like, I like you all. And I know they keep calling me the, what do they call me, the fence sitter or whatever. It's like, I know you're all jerks, but I like you. Like, you know what I mean? It's like there's all like, I don't know. I think people just need to chill the fuck out. I
yeah, I
really do.
think
I know
everyone
there's been some
chill.
horrible shit that's been done to people. I don't want to minimize it because some people get upset and think we're trying to minimize. We're not minimizing because I
No, no,
know
I'm
people have
not.
been doxing each other. Like that's what I don't like is the doxing and the going after families and all that crap.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking opinions about people or issues. Just it's really it seems like it's been really bad in the
It has
past
been.
few
It
weeks.
has been. It
Even
has been.
today in
You
particular.
took a good time to take some time off. Bederow was smart. We we all
I
got to do a Bederow.
no, I saw it, and I was on vacation. I didn't, I kind of got dragged into it on like a show on a morning, and I don't know why I was. And I was just like, wow, this is just messy.
It's hard to dodge now. It's like
Yeah,
you can't even eat. Like I'm not involved in this stuff, and my name keeps getting brought up all the time. They're trying to drag me in. It's like no, I don't have time for this. I don't have the time to figure out who's right and who's wrong, and then find out that I'm wrong on what I thought. And I
it,
just
it
hope you, like you said, just I hope people take a break. Take touch some grass. If this
no,
shit's
I think
bothering you, take
so.
yeah.
I also think if there's like certain people don't like each other, that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
It doesn't have to be like public and back.
Yeah.
It's okay to like or not like each other and keep it to yourself or keep it private. That
We all have that. I mean, there's
yeah,
people I don't
yeah,
generally like love, but I'm not
yeah.
gonna
You don't have
cry
to.
about it. And
Yeah, it doesn't need to be a public spectacle. I agree.
I hope they
That's
take
our
it. I'm
good. That's
glad you
our
brought that up.
yeah.
We needed to hear that from Mr. Bederow tonight, I think. And Lola and Winnie, were they on the screen tonight? Do we see them at all?
No,
I don't
Lola
think
was
so.
underneath. I don't know where she went.
Did you
Winnie was
see how many
barking.
times I was looking down? He finally went quieted down. This dog has been going the whole time with the
Yeah,
treats because he knows I'm spoiling him tonight.
yeah. No, yeah. Lola was in here earlier. Winnie is barking. I don't know if you heard it a few minutes ago. They're crazy girls, but it's the best part of coming home on vacation, though, right? Is seeing the pups.
That's right. And now I don't know if you know this. We have these on YouTube. People have been asking me this forever to do like the avatars and the special things you can post, like pictures in the chat.
Yeah,
And one of them is my Charlie, but one of them's that picture with you. And I think I don't know if it's Lola
that's
or
Lola.
Winnie. Which one
That's
is
Lola.
that?
Yeah, that's Lola.
Lola. Okay. So that's like one of the little things you can post in the chat. People get very excited that they have a Bederow dog picture there.
I'm sure Lola would be thrilled with that. Yeah, no, she
Yeah.
would. Yeah, no, they're good girls. They're great.
Awesome. Well, I thank you so much for being here, Attorney Mark Bederow. We'll look forward to seeing you. A lot of us,
Yeah,
if you're going to the Turtle Boy event that's coming up at the Wilbur or at court September 24th,
yeah,
watching it at home as well. I can't wait. I have that in my brain right now. Like, I don't remember too many dates. September 24th, 2 p.m. Must see TV, must see video. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah.
We'll see what happens,
I
right?
hate these afternoon appearances too. I understand it's a scheduling thing because it's kind of a big case, big courtroom. But I'm one of those people who'd much prefer top of the morning in, get out, save the day. But I just go where they send me.
I know that's the thing. It stinks having to wait all day. Like
Yeah,
when you wake up, you just want it to happen. You don't want
yeah,
to sit there and wait. None of
yeah.
us, even though people at home, we want it now.
Well, it'll be an interesting appearance. That's for sure. No question.
This will be the last question. I keep saying that. Linda says, "Do you think the Commonwealth, the corrupt Commonwealth, will ever get sick of this?" or maybe throw in the towel on Aiden at least?
Again, there's no speedy trial statute, so they have no incentive to do anything. I often wonder if this drags out and there's fresh blood, why any DA would say, let me continue to dedicate millions of dollars to this. Everybody knows they paid Mello $500,000, whatever it was, to do. I'm not really sure, frankly. Obviously another prosecutor is getting paid. All these state police are getting paid millions and millions of dollars for this. I think it's probably, if nothing else, a bad allocation of limited resources. But it's not my call. I don't know. I don't know why they're doing it in the first place. I understand why they don't like him. He criticized them, but I also think part of the problem is, and this again is just another example of the train wreck that is that office, is the district attorney recognized theoretically that he had a conflict. I can't prosecute this guy because of a number of reasons, but not the state police. And the people who are really driving the bus here, were Tully, Buchanan, and Proctor, Buchanan and Proctor were literally named alleged victims. Tully and him have a history. These people are the ones that he's criticizing. Where but Norfolk County would these be the people running the investigation? The level of conflict here is so off the charts. And it's as if everybody just ignores it. Like, yeah, whatever. What's for dinner? Who cares? And if you had other people brought in, I have every reason to believe they would say, we're not going to do this.
Definitely.
This is personal for these people.
And that's what I've been saying. So, that's been my regular kind of go-to so many times.
Personal.
Talking about the conflict of interest, the personal, where the people that he embarrassed and exposed are now investigating him. That conflict, I'm frustrated the media doesn't bring.
It is
why is my show and you? Why are we the only ones talking about that? Why isn't Channel 4 and 10 and all the rest of them?
I don't know, but it is personal with the cops. Those are the people he criticized and called corrupt.
Right.
It is absolutely personal with the civilian witnesses. We know that.
Yes.
And we know the shocking level of influence and access that they have to drive the bus. It's personal with them. The only person at the moment that it's not personal with is the current prosecutor. But all these other people have a personal incentive to want him to go down, and that is a recipe for really bad judgment in making prosecutorial decisions. When you have people who are so hell-bent on seeing somebody go down because they are directly involved and are the exact people being criticized by the journalists they're going after. It is, again, it's Chinatown. It's just how they do it. But
Jake,
it is, you can't ignore the dichotomy between the fact that Morrissey recognizes he has a conflict, but not the state police. We are in Looney Tunes land with the analysis of what's a conflict and what's not in this case.
Hopefully it gets settled sooner than later.
Don't count on it.
Yeah, right. We're looking forward to September at least.
Yeah.
It's coming up soon, and it seems like a lifetime away, but it's 3 weeks away, pretty much, give or take. Looking forward to seeing it, and we're all looking forward to seeing Bederow twice in Boston this month. Thank you, Mark, for being here tonight, and great catching up with you.
Yeah, nice seeing you again. It's been a while.
Yes, it has been a while.
Yeah.
Definitely, we gotta make sure we link up. I still have some. I know it's not there's been all this controversy about awards and all this shit, and I know it's not some big lawyer award or an Emmy or something. But I got something I want to give you.
I'm happy
to glass. Yeah.
I'm happy to take it over tangerine beef, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. We got to hook up for some dinner or something. So we'll talk about it.
We'll figure it out.
Thank you so much, Attorney Mark Bederow, Bederow Law on Twitter, and his website, betterolaw.com. Thank you so much again, Mark, for being here tonight.
Okay, see you soon.
See you soon. We're the Young Jurks. My name is Mike Crawford. It's a great show. I want to thank everyone in the chat, our mod team. I want to thank attorney Mark Bederow, and obviously Howie Carr being here as well. That was fun too. And I want to thank all the chatters. I want to thank Turtle Boy, Aiden Carney. Thank you so much, Aiden. I want to thank everyone who's been here today. I'm gonna read we had I think one super chat, which is Hotel Delta says, does Howie feel bad for Turtle Boy that he got the first interview? I didn't ask it. I didn't even look at any super chats when Howie was here. I wasn't really looking at the chat at all when he was here. So I don't know how he feels about it. But I do know that Howie and Aiden both respect each other. And like I've had a couple calls, I talked to Aiden the other day and I talked to some of Howie's team. And I suggested to both of them to call each other, and I wish they would, but I think that stuff's going to get worked out. I think it sucks. Obviously, I don't feel great about, that Karen just didn't say Aiden's name today. She should have just said his name. I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it because I feel like I'm going to speak on my feelings too much. And I don't want to stir it up anymore. I think all these people need to just, but I got love for all of them. I do. I'm not trying to bag on anyone. I'm not trying to fuel it. And I know how it feels. And I guess if I'm going to say anything, I'm going to speak on how I feel because at the same time, I get why Aiden gets upset because I feel it too. When these lawyers didn't come on our shows, and not just my show, Mazza, freaking LTL, the Glare. We were talking tonight. Someone said Melanie Little was one of the first shows. She kind of was, but she wasn't there when we were there. Like she came in when I was on my break, when I was on my nervous breakdown. That's when she came along, which was pretty early on. But I basically had I had to go on break because of how much pressure I felt from the, Norfolk County DA's office. And consider what Aiden went through, 60 days. I don't know. I feel like these lawyers should have gone on all of our shows. So I feel like he can say whatever he wants. I guess what I didn't like about Aiden's thing is that, he threw out the employees at the Howie Carr show. I felt like he should have just called them directly. Should have called Howie directly. But it is what it is. And these people are all humans. Everyone's a human here. That's all I want to say. And I respect Aiden, and he's given the most. Let's be serious. 60 days in jail's nothing to sneeze at. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Aiden covering this. So, and I feel like he is allowed to have feelings. He's allowed to say what he feels. But I think in the end, I think Howie and him are going to get along fine in the end. I do. So I said what I said. I don't know. I feel like people are picking sides again, and I'm not picking sides. My advice to them is they should call each other. I hope they do. Yeah, and I think Karen should have shouted them out. I think she should have shouted us all out. I think she should shout out LTL, the Glera, Mazza Media, the Young Jurks, Turtle Boy, Auntie Deb, Nick Rocco. Anyone that's like a major fundraiser. Who else am I missing? Nurse Kim. And I'd say especially the 4 or 5 shows in the very beginning when Aiden went to jail. We were all stressed. And it's easy to look back now and say, oh, it was for nothing. You got stressed for nothing. But we didn't know. And for Aiden, I feel like, yeah, he should be getting some love there. But, you can paint it any way you want. People know the history. You can't rewrite history. Thank you so much, Fancy Fact Finder. She says, Mike, you're a wonderful content creator. I have my utmost respect for you. Absolutely. Thank you. And I got to say, I love having Howie Carr on tonight. That was, even though I was almost too excited. I want to talk about all his phrases. We were talking about, when I got him talking about Nicky Mavroulis and That whole thing with Cappies, that was fun. Like that was fun tonight. And to have Bederow jump on too, it's always good. And to see Aiden here in the chat, again, we have it pinned at the top of the chat right now. If you want to support Aiden Carney, his fundraiser, his GoFundMe, Give Send Go. Actually, I said GoFundMe. Give Send Go. I also have a Give Send Go. You can kick in for that one as well. Both of us, we need the money. I'm not. I don't sit here and ask for money. I never ask for money. I know I usually have a ticker, and people can do super chats. I mean, I have that stuff enabled, but generally, I'm not saying, "Hey, give me money," like verbally. I've been saying that lately, and there's a reason because I do. I need the money, like, and the money is for the lawsuit. Like the lawsuit, the bills add up. People don't realize I'm over 20 grand already, and there's going to be more bills. And this is just for a civil suit. So imagine what Aiden's dealing with two attorneys. There's a lot of cost. So if you can afford to kick in, I appreciate it. I know a lot of you can't. If you can't, you can't. I don't want anyone donating that can't afford to donate. If you're skipping meals, don't donate. You know, if you're not able to pay your bills, don't donate. But if you can, you can. It goes a long way to help us because this is lawfare. This is what it is too. The state's trying to bankrupt Aiden and jail him, and the people suing me are trying to take my money too. It does affect things like investments, like whether you can invest in your show fully, whether you can buy new equipment. I want to get a third computer. I've got something else I'm working on. I really need a third computer actually. I only got a second computer because Nan kicked in. But that's the type of thing. Like when you have a lawsuit, you don't want to spend. You're like, man, who knows? I don't want to run out of money. Enough about that. I'm in a good mood right now. I thought the interview was great today. I enjoyed it. Good to watch. Good to see Karen. Good to see Alan. And looking forward to the lawsuits. I'm looking forward to someday seeing Karen sit down with Aiden Carney. That's going to be a great interview. Someone just mentioned this too. Like AJ interview on Turtle Boy was hands down the very best. Even though mentioned how Turtle Boy didn't always agree and he liked that he wasn't afraid to ask the tough questions. This is the thing about Turtle Boy. He's never afraid. Never afraid. I know, right? I mean, some of the things I'm being sued on. Thank you so much for the contribution, Joy. Joy says, Mike, I contributed to your legal fund. I don't get how you can be sued for retweeting something. I don't even think it was a retweet. I think it was a re-Facebook. I basically shared something, I believe, from someone else's Facebook, if I'm remembering that correctly. But yeah, there's some things on there. I mean, I asked a question. That's one of they're trying to sue me for asking a friggin' question of a guest. And then they don't even like the quotations of what I said aren't correct. It's the same stuff they do to Aiden. It's like they change it. All right, you know what I want to do right now? Actually, there's a couple more questions. Could people ask him if I'm going to be at the Wilbur? I have no plans right now. I want to go. I honestly do, but we have I haven't talked to my girlfriend about it because she's basically been helping me out, bailing me out. We've had too many dogs again, and she's got like kind of like a big week that week, so I haven't broached it with her. I feel like if I broach it with her, it's like asking her for something again. It's like I need to help her. So we'll see. I don't think so at this point. I don't think I'm going to be going, which sucks. I want to go, but you never know. That could change. I still have to have the conversation with her. I don't like to ask her, for things and like, especially when she needs help. It's like, oh, can you do? She needs help, and I'm gonna ask her for help. You know what I'm saying? It's like we both, we have each of us has our own real dog business, but we also work together on some. It's kind of complicated. All right, let's This is a funny one. Mike Crawford, you're hot. What is this? What is this, a Higgins text or something, or Karen Reed to Higgins? Just letting you know. Oh, thank you. I didn't know. I actually, this is weird because I do get that sometimes now from women, and I'm just like, what? Are we talking about the same guy here? Me? No, no, I'm not hot. My arms used to be hot when I used to lift weights more. I was just checking my arms out the other day, and I'm like, I'm still fit and toned, but I think I gotta start getting in the gym again. I'm starting to lose it. I am getting too skinny. Yes, please, everyone support my defense, please. Thank you so much for reminding everybody of that. This is funny. The headline should be "You lost, you wrong." I think that is a good headline. Maybe Howie will change it to that. I did like how Howie did bring up the BPD commissioner today. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, this was the one with Melanie Little has been covering the Karen Reed story since the very beginning. Also, I think maybe she was covering it since the first trial started. But when I say the very beginning, the beginning was before Karen went to trial. You know what I mean? Like there was those hearings. I mean, so she was pretty early. I would say she was probably the first big law tuber to cover it. Absolutely. And she was pretty damn early. But when I say the beginning was Turtle Boy. Turtle Boy was the first one. And then I think it was, like I said, Yellow Cottage Tales, right? And then me and the Galera and LTL are all around the same time. I might be missing some others too, but that's my memory. Andrew Myers, attorney Andrew Meyer, law offices of Andrew Myers here. I had a great time on his show the other day. I was a little too chat. We were both chatting it up. Andrew and I chatted the hell up. That was fun. He says, "What's the big announcement Howie was supposed to make today, but did not happen?" Well, I think there was a little confusion there. Number one, Howie had an announcement which he made on our show tonight and on his show, which was the book. So that was Howie's announcement. He made the big announcement, obviously. And I think Nick Rocco made a post that Alan Jackson was going to have some type of big announcement. He was hyping that. So that wasn't Howie Carr or his show hyping it. That was really Nick Rocco and social media. And I think what Alan Jackson was hyping today was the lawsuit that they're going to be suing these people. And I think that was kind of the hype today. And I think that was kind of the announcement that Alan Jackson made, which some people are saying he already made that a couple weeks ago. He may have. But to see him do it on video, in the flesh, and knowing that might be on TV tonight, I think that's what was the purpose today. And I'm also hearing some things in the background. I think there may be more to meet the eye, where what Bederow said tonight, that this was a business trip. This was all about business today, and I think there may be even more behind the scenes that we don't know about. Why Jackson was here today. All right, you know what I'm gonna do to end the show? I'm gonna check my Venmos and all that and the Cash Apps, make sure I'm good on that. Make sure I don't forget anyone. If I've had any tonight, haven't even put it up on the screen, so I may not have any, obviously. And sometimes they come in, and sometimes they don't. I don't think I see any tonight, but I will check that definitely, uh, because I don't like to miss it. When I miss it, it's so funny when I don't do it, when I don't check it. That's when the money comes in, and then I feel bad the next show, trying to thank the person, but they're probably not around. And so I'm going to do that right now. But what I want to do to end the show, yeah, it looks like we're all good tonight. But I'll check it again just to make sure, because sometimes I miss it anyways when I. So what I'm going to do to end the show, I just figured out we'd play the Howie Carr interview. I think most people have already seen it. If you want to watch the whole thing without any commentary from me and uninterrupted, because I'm going to kind of skip the commercials and I may miss some of it anyways. But you can find it on the Howie Carr Radio Network. It's on their Facebook. Howie Carr Radio Network on their Facebook. They also have a Rumble, and they also have a Twitter. Howie Carr Show is on Twitter. You can also watch it there. They also have a podcast, so you can find it on iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. Listen to it there as well, especially if you want to listen to it uninterrupted without my commentary. But I figured we'd play a little bit of it to end the show tonight since Howie Carr was on the show. And I think most people have already seen it. Just to kind of review it, and especially for me, I want to hear it with the headphones. I was like driving around today. I was watching on the phone. I like to listen with the headphones, see it, just see if you pick up anything differently, just to kind of get the sound of it. But I'm also going to take a quick break and hit the bathroom, take out Charlie, let him upstairs maybe. But I'm going to play the video and I'll probably have some commentary, but I'll be in and out while I'm playing it. You know how I do this. So I guess that's how I'm going to end the show. Again, I want to thank Howie Carr Show for hooking me up today and being on the show today. It's a kind of a dream come true. I've been listening to Howie for, like I said, decades. He did inspire me, you know, with the writing and the columns and just even the way he writes and how he covers things. I've definitely been influenced by Howie Carr over the years. So it was great to have him on the show. And like I said, I got to tell him I steal one of his phrases. I didn't come here to be made sport of. And it's so funny because I think we were off before the show even started. I was telling him that, and he was telling me like where some of the phrases came from, and that he stole them from somebody, some of them. So it's interesting. Next time, I hope I have Howie Carr on more than 20 minutes, and we can really get into the history for a couple hours with him. It's tough because how do you get a guy who has a 4 hour show every day and then ask him to do another 2 hour show, right? And he's getting up there and he's got books he's writing. He's still writing columns, and then he's got grandkids and a family and a wife. So it's difficult to ask him to do more. But I'm very thankful he found the time for me tonight. Thank you so much, Howie Carr. Thank you, the awesome, greatest attorney ever. You saw what Turtle Boy said about him today. Thank you so much, Attorney Mark Bederow. And I want to thank our mod team. I want to thank Jen O. I want to thank Stephanie, Sarah, MJ, the ladies in the chat. I love them. Thank them so much. They've had a little bit of stress today. I think coming up on the show, they were a little worried. And I just want to thank them for everything that they do. They are amazing. My mod team, the ladies in the chat. I can't thank them enough. And yeah. Good night, jerk, Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie. And Mazza is coming up live next. I'll try to do a redirect to him after. I want to play some of this Howie Carr video, and then I will redirect to Mazza if people want to watch him as well. Thank you, Mazza. I love Mazza. I definitely want to get Mazza back on the show too. I saw some people asking for Mazza tonight. All right, let's you know what, too? I saw a couple people asking earlier. I think our mods got it in there, but I just in case they didn't, I'm also going to throw our Give, Send, Go in there and the YouTube chat if you want to give there as well. There we go. We got that in there. All right, let's watch this video from earlier today. Howie Carr, Karen Reed. Hopefully it's up here. Do I have it up here? I thought I did save it. It's not up here. Where is it? Hold on. It's got to be here. Don't tell me it didn't show up. Come on. Thought I saved it today. Hmm. Oh, I know. I'm hold on. Give me a minute here. I just gotta find the video. I thought I had it up. Hmm. Yeah, I'm having an issue with it anyways. You know what I'm just gonna do? I'm gonna throw a link to the Howie Carr radio show. So if you want to watch it there, I think that's probably the best thing. I'm having some issues right now. the video. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to redirect to Mazza. Since Mazza's going to start up, I think, pretty damn soon, he said. Mm, yeah, let me do that. Here we go. Yeah, I think Maz is going to review the video. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to redirect you to Mazza. So if you want to watch it with Mazza, you can watch it over there. And obviously, you can watch it on the Howie Carr radio show. It's on iTunes, it's on Twitter, it's everywhere. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bederow. I want to thank Mr. Bederow for holding my hand and making sure that Eddie Vedder is not going to be on the list. He's not going to be one. He's not one of the allegeds. That made me feel better. I think he thought it was cute. Um, yeah, I think we're all caught up. I think we are all caught up. You know what I should do before I leave is just check. I want to check one more thing. Hold on. I like to check the chat again. Oh, I want to thank Dave P, who just gave $10 on our Give Said Go. And also, 4 minutes ago, Anonymous Giver gave $25. Burhart gave $20. Said, I'm behind you, Mike. Donations are coming in today on my fundraiser. Thank you so much. $25 just came in from Joy. Jersey Jen gave $10. This is what really helps me the most is these donations to the law fund because, like I said, your fear is that you're going to run out of money. Like how long is this going to go for? So every time you guys give us a donation, it's so much appreciated. I want to thank everyone who's been kicking into my defense fund 13,842. It makes a big difference to me. Thank you so much, everybody. Also, Good Treble Studios Julia sent me $5. We had another anonymous giver, Gail O'Neill, gave 100. That was a day ago. Thank you so much, Gail. That's amazing. Madeline Wags gave 25 the other day. Denise Noel Gardner, 50. I just sent out some stickers to you, Denise. Glenn, I got to thank Glenn Lake as a jerk. He sent $100. You're the man. Thank you so much, Glenn. Aurora Aura gave 50. So many good people have stepped up. I want to thank everyone who's been supporting my Young Jurks Defense Fund on Give, Send, Go. Yeah, you know what's funny too? Like Jeno, I gotta say, because I don't know. I don't talk to Karen. I really don't. Um, I felt like there could be some credence to the fact that she didn't want to be associated with Aiden because of the lawsuits and the fact that the state could refile the indictments against her for witness intimidation. They could definitely do that, but at the same time, I just feel like that's an excuse in a way. I really do because it's like you could have just said thank you. I don't know why that was so difficult, and I don't know why it's so difficult just to make a list of a group of us and just say thank you. I don't know. And it's not like I need it or anything, but for Aiden, it's a little different. He's looking at 80 years in jail. It feels like, and like I know a lot of people too look at like you guys should be happy you made money. Your platform's increased. You got 150,000 subs. I didn't get 150. I got 60. But Aiden's got 150, right? Or whatever. But it's when you're doing this, it's like that's nice. You want that, but it's not all about that. And especially with this case, I feel like for Aiden, it's become personal. And I think a lot of times that's what it's a little personal. Yeah, I know. I feel you on that. I mean, she did thank us, some of us along the way. I feel what you're saying, great thoughts. But when you have an audience and your audience is saying it to you, do you know what I mean? It's like, it kind of like, you're like, why? Yeah, why isn't she thanking us? Do you know what I mean? That's all, that's it. It's kind of like, that's why I say we're humans. Like, we're allowed, like, Aiden is allowed to have feelings about this. You know what I'm saying? Some people could say, oh, he's complaining, he's crying, he's whining. But it's his feelings, and he's allowed to, I mean, this is what he does on his show, right? I mean, that's what got him to where he's at, right? I don't know. I feel like we're humans and we're allowed to have feelings. Now, whether or not we should share them or not, that's up to the person. Sometimes I feel like I should share my true feelings. Sometimes I'm like, maybe not. Maybe I don't share that on the show. It's up to each of us. But this is really personal for him. So I just hope he works it out with Howie Carr. I think Howie Carr, Aiden Carney need to mend bridges. Like if there's any bridges that have been damaged here, because those two really should be working together. I like way beyond Karen Reed, like in the future. And I don't want to see that go to hell. The Karen and Aiden stuff, I feel like is more of a personal thing. I think the Aiden and Aiden Turtle Boy and Howie Carr is a business thing, and it's good for business for everybody. So I hope they all work it out. I really do. Yeah, and exactly. This is it. You can't argue someone's feelings, especially someone that did 60 days in jail for it. And that's looking at 80 years in jail, that spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend themselves. I know how much stress I'm going through on the financial part of this lawsuit, not knowing how much it's going to cost. Can you imagine what Aiden's thinking about? Never mind the cost. But I don't want to talk about it. This isn't my beef. I figured I'd let you guys know because people are asking. I'm gonna go. Charlie's crying. Mazza, let's go watch Mazza Media together. Have a great night. If you need to reach me, you know how to do it. Twitter, Facebook at the Young Jurks. I want to thank everyone who's donated. If if you sent a recent donation and you sent me an email with your screen cap, you should be getting some new stickers very soon because I mailed a bunch out. I think either yesterday or yeah, that was yesterday. So they should probably get them in the next couple days if you haven't already got them tonight. So look for the stickers in the mail, and if you do want a donation for a sticker, you can do that. I'm going to put that on the screen right now. If you send a $10 donation, $25 outside the U.S. or more to the Young Jurks Legal Defense Fund on Give, Send, Go, you'll receive a free Young Jurks sticker. I think I'm out of the Young Jelly, actually. So I think it's only going to be the Young Jerks stickers. You email the screen cap of the donation to mjcboston1@yahoo.com and send me your mailing address. All right, I think I'm done. I think I'm out of here. I think I got everyone. I think nobody's mad at me, right? I don't know if they really had a fallout. I just think Aiden was frustrated. That's it. And I hope they get along. I want them to work together. I really think it's good for everybody. Yeah, and I respect them all. I respect all three of them. Yeah, like someone said, I see both sides of it. I do too. I see all sides of it. There's like 3 sides to every story, right? All right, I'm headed out. Thank you again to all our viewers. Thank you to our mods. Thank you to our supporters. Thank you to everyone who's contributing. Thank you to Howie Carr for being here tonight. Howard Lawrence Carr. Thank you to the entire Howie Carr team for hooking us up there. And of course, thank you, Attorney Mark Bederow. Let's go watch Mazza Media. I'll see you guys soon. I'm not sure when, but you know I'll be around. Check it out. Make sure you subscribe and like if you haven't to the Young Jurks, and check back because you know how I do it. Sometimes it's last minute, some of the shows, and we could do some last minute shows this week. We'll see what happens. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. Young Jurks.